Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, bro? How are you,
going,
man?
dude?
How you doing?
Good. Hey, just sit here for real quick. Right, I'll be right back.
What do you got?
I gotta play a song for you.
Oh, okay, cool. Is it like Phil Collins or something like that? In the Air Tonight?
Better.
That's my jam. Look at the artwork. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Bro, no.
We got some wings, we got some beer,
I'm in.
right? And we're hanging out.
I've been known to work for food, so.
Really?
Yeah, the fat guys always work for food. Always.
Oh my God, that's so funny. You're in better shape than me. You kidding me? Well, we're rolling, so we're
Cool.
good, right, John? We're rolling.
We're rolling.
Good? Yeah, we're good. So I wanna welcome you to Connected by Water. I'm pretty stoked you're here. We're here, Brett Romberg, right?
Yeah.
At
least that's what my mom called me. Yeah.
I was thinking about like the best ways to introduce you because you're like, I love you, man. You're awesome. But
Appreciate that.
I'm gonna introduce you as a Knoll. I'm gonna introduce you as national championship winning. Right.
That sounds good.
All American center. Right. Brett Romberg.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Can I introduce you that way? Is
Of
that
course.
cool?
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
Sure.
And obviously, veteran NFL player and radio personality and all that. And
All the shit that really doesn't matter.
Oh
Yeah.
no, it matters to me, man. Now that I'm like, I got a mic in front of my face all the time. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, the broadcast thing is cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. So it was cool to always listen to you on the show with
Zaz and all them guys back in the day.
Zaz and Amber and all that. And now you're stoked you got your own gig over there at the Man.
Yeah, definitely. Although it was great working with Zaz and Amber and even before that Joy Taylor and
Oh, that's right. You work with Joy.
yeah, that's kind of me and Joy kicked it off really, really well. Zaz obviously being the sports junkie fan, I guess you could say the sports nerd of the three of us, but Joy's plethora of knowledge about sports, whether that was her herself going through high school, and she was a giant athlete in high school too. So basketball, track and field, she did it all. Aside from the fact of being Jason Taylor's sister, which she always fell into that category. But yeah, I think she could probably whoop his ass in a lot of sporting events.
I'm sure she can verbally. At least.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, she's good, man. She's really good.
She's nice as she seems in person.
She is.
Really
Nice. She will be a psychopath, like a lot of the great ones are. That she will be a crazy person. Good looking girl, rolls with a good looking crew all the time, and but at the end of the day, she's a sweetheart. She's a good girl. She's awesome.
Yeah, nice. So speaking of sweetheart, Jenny. That works here.
God bless her.
She's practically from Canada.
Yeah.
And originally she felt that you would like the Labatt's. Please.
She is a border jumper. Good for her. I like that. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's definitely very hospitable walking in here. Not only do I get to see amazing art, but the old maple leaf on a Labatt Boo bottle is pretty good too.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
We got some wings here provided to us today by Wings Plus, which up here in Coral Springs is a local wingery.
Cool.
And pretty
looking forward to
pretty famous, well establishment in town. So for those of you not watching on YouTube and just merely listening at home, you're probably going to hear us with a mouthful of food every now and then.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I might rip off the odd burp or two. I don't want to offend anybody, but yeah, we also got, what's the other one? We got Landshark, the former known Hard Rock Stadium name, right?
Yep, we got some Landsharks here. We like drinking Landshark a lot because
I can honestly tell you this will be my first time you're going to pop my Landshark cherry, to be honest
really?
with you. Yeah, I've never
had
one.
Well, we do a lot of stuff with Last Mega. The boat, Last Mega, Jimmy Buffett's boat. So that's obviously their company and stuff like that. So, yeah, we've gotten used to drinking that a lot with them. So I'm like, I kind of like this, And then Liz likes it. She doesn't like a lot of beer, but she likes that.
Is it lighter? Is it a lighter feeling?
No, it's
beer?
a lighter beer. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
it's cool.
My wife, we broke out on Cinco de Mayo. We broke out a couple nice little Christmas stocking gifts that we had in our storage area in the garage, which was a whole bunch of Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville stuff. So
really,
the margarita machine, the mix, the maker, the martini glasses, the frozen margarita glasses and stuff, and actually across the rim of the glass, it's actually the lyrics to Margaritaville.
Yeah, nice.
So looking for my lost shaker of salt and Take Me Away Again is another line that you put on the cup. So it's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of Jimmy. Actually, to be perfectly honest with you, when I first got to UM, January of 98. My first experience of like doing it the Miami, Florida Key way, not the Miami Hialeah way, like not like what a lot of, you think about Miami, you think about that Latin culture. This was more of the American local Miami guys getting their talons in me. And after a morning run on, it couldn't have been more, I was here for maybe 3 weeks. After that first morning run at 6 a.m., the Friday morning was, we're going to teach you to just abort the classroom on this Friday, and we're going to head straight to my guy's parents' house in Key Largo, and we ended up going out fishing. So it was spearing, diving for lobster, obviously fishing throughout the day, and getting back to the dock at around 2:33 to run over to Publix and grab some rice, and we were cranking tails off right there at the dock, and just, that was my first amazing hooked experience, no pun intended, of this lifestyle, this marine life, this whatever it was,
it's
just
infectious.
being in the, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's an expensive infection, but it's,
that's
and
for
nobody
sure.
prepared me for the cost of it. But yeah, it's definitely an expensive infection, that's for sure.
It's so funny. Somebody posted the other day, you know how on Facebook you got the thumbs up, you got the heart, and now they got the one where it's hugging the heart, and then you got like the upset person and the sad person and the whatever. Someone posted a meme that said like that's the progression of boat ownership.
It is, if you really think about it. The first day you're super happy. You know, it's okay to write that check. It hurts, but you're excited, and especially how I've learned about the boating business and how a lot of your leading manufacturers. It's not like you can just go out and buy the boat that day. Some of these boat manufacturers, you're on like a 2.5-year waiting list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You put your money in, you put your slip deposit in, and then it's all a waiting game from then on. So regardless of what happens in the economy, hence COVID, they don't care if you're out, half of your wealth. They don't care. You're still getting that damn boat. I promise you that. You know what I mean? So, but
absolutely.
But yeah, man, I've been addicted to that. My dad was a captain back in the day up on the Great Lakes, living up in Canada. Yeah, he was a boat captain for a while.
It gets pretty rough there on those big lakes, doesn't it?
It's Lake Erie and stuff like that. It's not exactly, the smoothest sailing in the world. Some days it gets pretty rough. And I think he had, he captained a Wellcraft for a while, and some other kind of open fisherman boat. I can't remember what it was. It was actually made of wood too, because I remember we spent one summer refinishing it. It was a really, really cool boat. And it was like all walleye or pike or whatever you guys want to call some of the northern fish up there on the freshwater. But like taking out rock stars, like rock stars would come into Detroit, and my dad was known to party once or twice. So the rumor would be, you guys want to get out on the water? Yeah, let's go. So you guys got a concert tomorrow. You come in early, go fishing with my old man. So like bands like Foghat and Nugent and all these other guys. So
really?
Yeah. So he's been known to show people a good time once or twice.
That's killer, man.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you ever do any ice fishing up there?
Oh yeah.
I've always wanted to go ice fishing.
That's a freaking experience. So for those of you that know about ice fishing, you can have you'll set up obviously at the beginning of the season when the ice gets really, really thick and you're able to drive on your snowmobile, or even that matter, some people drive their trucks or ATVs and they sled their shanties, their ice fishing shanties or cottages or whatever it might be. You put them on some skis and drive it out to the middle of the lake, pop the thing up, set it all up. And you could actually put generators out there and electricity and whatever.
Yeah, I heard those things get pretty cozy.
Oh, yeah, they get beautiful. Hell, I was fishing with my shirt off sometimes, hanging out in there. You got a little space heater in there. You aug out a couple big circles, and you got your tip-ups, little mini tip-ups and stuff. Sometimes you're pulling, like, we call them gators, the muskie. These are our freshwater gators, our muskies up there. So we used to pull muskies up through the hole, pikes, whatever, man. It was really, really cool. Perch. Like you throw them, like the minute you grab them, aside from not even needing to bring a cooler with you, you know what I mean? That's the best part about it. Living up north in the wintertime, there's not many things good about it, but one of them is literally we used to have a basement and a walkway down into our basement, and it would snow so much that I could literally open the door and it would be a giant snowbank. So what you did was you just grabbed your beers and you just pumped them right into the snow, and it's like your built-in cooler. And you don't have to go to the fridge, you don't have to go back to a cooler. You just open the door and pull out a beer. It's really, really cool. But yeah. The fish would freeze immediately when you pull it out of the water. Just lay it right there next to you. You're good to go. Don't have to worry about it. And the fish was clean, really, really clean.
Yeah, I bet those cold water fish real clean.
Yeah, they're flaky, tasty. And we would even sit there with a little skillet, and you'd cook it up right there too. Like nice. Really cool. Oh yeah, really, really cool. Really funky.
Did you ever go back after
Yeah, I
These
usually
are hot and these are medium, by the way.
Oh, cool. I'll bury them both.
Yep.
We would go back quite frequently, actually. Now that we got the kids and stuff, it's kind of more difficult for us to travel.
Right. Well, you never moved back, right?
No. I probably never will, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, all the glory stories of the ice and the beer and the snow, and it's cool and all, but for about 5 minutes.
Even on the way up here right now, I was talking to my mom. It was her birthday yesterday and Mother's Day. And
oh, cool. Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah, happy birthday, Momberg. And that's what I call her, Momberg. And she was like, can you believe it? It's 32 damn degrees here today. And it was snowing 2 days ago. And I'm just like, oh, God.
Yeah, man.
She's like, what are you guys, in the mid-80s? And I said, yeah, unfortunately. But it's cloudy, though. If it's going to make you feel better, it's kind of cloudy. So, yeah, the weather back there is, like, you could bank on not seeing sun sometimes for about a month.
Right.
It's just misery.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
No. It affects your mood. People that suffer from depression and all kinds of other stuff. Imagine not even being able to go outside. And if you are, it's dark as night, gets dark early. Sun doesn't come up really till about 9:30, goes down at around 3:34 sometimes. So it's not exactly ideal for a good mood,
I was born and raised here. So when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, how can people live like that? My wife is from New Jersey, right? So we'll go up every now and then, visit the in-laws and all that. Mm-hmm. One year we went up for Christmas for like 10 days. And it was like the shittiest weather.
And you had enough.
It was after 3 days. I'm like, how do you people live like this?
I have a hard time staying home when I go home. Like, I get all excited to go back there. And then my wife usually knows within 48 hours. I'm like, I'm done. I'm looking for an excuse to get the hell out of there,
Yeah. I'm like, how do you guys do this? I'm
it's tough.
Like, yeah. And I can only imagine what they're all going through with this virus stuff. And
they're all shut down.
We got it made down here with the weather. And, okay, yeah, sure, we're going to stay in. We're going to hang around by the pool. You know what I mean? No big deal. But up there, it's like, we're going to walk the dog in the snow and the rain, like when it's freezing cold. And
it's bad. My little brother actually he bought little mini ATVs for his kids to go zinging around the parks and everything with. Yeah, so he's trying to make the best of the situation, but like sometimes although the death rates are pretty low in my hometown area, like from Toronto down, it is what it is. I wouldn't want to be that guy just told to be quarantined in my home and wear a mask wherever because over there they have things shut down and they're limiting the amount of people that go into the stores, but nobody's required to wear a mask.
In Canada, in general?
You're not required to wear a mask. It's like an optional thing if you really want to.
Gotcha.
So it's weird how, different parts of the world, in North America in particular, are like taking on this new uncharted territory.
Yeah. It's kind of sad to see. Not sad, but it kind of sucks that people are taking such a political stance on a lot of this. And it really just should be a human element.
Totally.
I mean, I don't know if that's whatever people believe and, whether you should open up the economy or everyone stay home or keep the mask in your face. I mean, we don't get too political on the show. We try not to at least, you know what I mean? Because I can't think of anything more non-productive than for two people that don't have the same political view to have a conversation about politics. It's just a futile endeavor. It's like, don't even go there. Yeah. It's like, why bother?
It's just going to cause an issue. It's going to cause a rip. I'm the big agree to disagree kind of guy. Like, I'm not going to sit here and debate with you. Number one, I don't care about politics. Right. I couldn't.
Clean water. That's the only thing we really talk about on the show that has any sort of political value.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We talk.
What do you think about that as of recently? Like, I'm literally like leaning towards the, holy shit, this is the first time that we've actually shut things down for a few weeks, and we're starting to see the benefits environmentally of toning down the amount of, exposure, littering, trash, boat fumes, whatever it could be on the water. I don't know what it's doing for the fish population, but I know it's definitely cleaned up a lot of our water down in the Miami side of things. Even the Miami River was deemed, and considering actually deeming it like good water. And it hasn't been this forever and a day. And then you saw what's going on over in Europe with dolphins and different types of species returning to, different parts of the environment, which I don't know, man. I think I'm willing to sacrifice a week or two of not being on the water or staying home or finding a way to help remove that like carbon imprint that everybody refers to when it comes to the environment. I'm not exactly like a giant global warming guy or anything, but hell, man, I know times are different. When I hear fishing stories about where I live now in the Keys and Isla Mirada about going out to the hump and, used to come back fully loaded, boat bloody as hell within a few hours, and few and far between, or the fish are small, or whatever it is. Whatever, I could see how it's impacting, obviously, the world.
There's no doubt about it, especially plastic.
Yeah, man. Like
that's a big deal
I even
too.
feel guilty when I'm at home, and if I got like a 6-pack of beer, or if I got bottled water that is like getting wrapped in those little rings, the first thing I do, I grab the scissors and start cutting that up. Because the last thing I would want to see is like a poor turtle getting his head wrapped in one of those things or something. You know what I mean?
I do the same thing too.
Or a bird, even like a seabird getting it tied around his legs or whatever it might be.
I definitely think responsibility and accountability has a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
We're still human at the end of the day. I mean, we're still going to live and do what we're going to do, and we're going to be there.
Right.
So we always talk about like there's like a balance to be had there, and I think people just need to really understand what their impact is and just try to minimize it as much as they
educate them
possibly
ultimately. Yeah.
Yeah, we stopped single-use plastic on this show, and again, not like we're overly environmental, but there's like what they say, common sense things you can do. There's common sense things you can do, And
I love the fact, by the way, that Tom Garfinkel over there at the Hard Rock is like taking charge on that too. Where
I like Tom.
Yeah, Tom is great, man. He's a really good dude. He's very modern in terms of his way of thinking, his progression, and being like the first NFL organization. I don't even know if they're the first professional organization. They might even be, but to do that, and that's probably the affiliation with being so close to the water and being in Miami, is the fact that he's eliminated all that single-use plastics at the stadium and stuff. So it's really cool the stuff that they've done, taking those steps.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dolphins in general, or from that perspective, are a pretty progressive organization, being on the forefront of a lot of things.
Yeah, I think they might be the first ones to come out and talk about, the NFL cranking back up, and they've already got their stadium policy in place of 15,000 fans and all that other stuff that they're going to be allowing at the game. So,
the national championship here this year too.
Yeah,
that's another reason why I think
there's a lot going on here.
I think you get the races and stuff too, but I think they got to be thinking we need to prove that the NFL can be successful here this year because we got the national championship game too. So we need a case study.
A lot is riding on this. I've been not anybody knows this yet, but I've been doing a lot of work with an infectious disease company in the last couple months. Like
what
huge
kind of work?
Like developing the protocol in order to get back to work.
What?
Like firsthand, crazy, amazing, and it's not like it's new protocol either. Like they've been doing this for 25 years. They're an infectious disease specialty company. And like literally the president of the company is like the guy that used to run Microsoft in Canada. So like they got legit geniuses behind everything. They got people that have been on the Canadian board, on the health boards, like people that they're consulting. I'm talking all sports leagues,
really
businesses. Like I'm talking like huge businesses,
domestic things, Canadian thing or international thing.
Ironically, the guys that own the company, they're Canadian, but they're out of North Carolina.
Okay.
So. Basically, they've been doing it for quite a while now, and this is like their Super Bowl. Their bread and butter of, signing attestation forms and temperature monitoring, and even going as far as ultimately tracking people in terms of body temperature wise. If they are sent home from work, from employment, do you know if they're staying home? What are the degrees of separation in terms of who do they hang out with? Ultimately, they've been
so they're looking for statistics.
Well, they have them. Like legitimately, they have 80% of the universities in the country, and they have over 2/3 of the nursing population in the country.
Really?
So basically, in order for you to graduate from a nursing program in the United States, you have to follow their protocol. And yeah, it's totally legit. The way
so what's your involvement in it?
I know the guy that owns the company,
okay.
And I was asking him, hey, when's the next time you guys are coming to the Keys, man? I haven't seen you in a while. He's like, oh, I'm just kind of finishing up this app that I got going on. And I was like, oh, what's the app? And he's like, oh, no, it's like, retinal scanning and temperature gauging and monitoring and sending it back to our database and all this other stuff. And I was like, hold on a minute. I was like, aren't you guys like a background check company? And he said, kinda, I guess. And I was like, so is this like a big secret or what? And he's like, no, we're basically the only company in the country that has able to track the amount of people we can track legally through databases, with all the guidelines of OSHA or FERPA and HIPAA and all these different possible litigations that you can run through about people's personal information. My company, we got almost 500 people in my company, and we've been implementing our strategies within my own personal company. And then now the hospitals in North Carolina have adapted this. So for instance, if you're a physician and you're scheduled to go to work that day, you wake up, you take your temperature, you fill out your forms of where you've been. Have you been traveling? Has anything altered in your current daily routine? What are you supposed to go to work for today? You are supposed to be doing surgery from noon till 6. You're on op floor. So then you show up at work. Your badge, it's like an LCD screen. It's like red, yellow, green.
LCD screen?
Basically, yeah, on their. So
really?
you're walking around, and if you haven't taken any of your proper steps throughout your day of doing your temperature more than once a day, filling out your forms, your temperature's okay. Everything is status quo. If you're on the right floor of the hospital, you're green. If you're on the wrong floor of the hospital, you're yellow, and you'll get stopped immediately. What are you doing on this floor? What's your business here? Why are you not where you're supposed to be?
That's crazy.
If you're a guest, you're going in to sign in to go see somebody, have a business meeting. You can't be on certain floors. So it's like, they've been doing it for like the last 6 years. It's like mind-blowingly impressive. And in this conversation, I was just like, hey man, you're aware that sports is looking to kind of get back started again and stuff? And he goes, uh-huh. And I said, well, like everything you're telling me.
Like people like sneak into the club level and be like, dude, you're not supposed to be here.
All that stuff, like just all the degrees of separation. Then I said, you're aware of like, Matt Ryan and Ben Roethlisberger making like $45 million a year. I said, I don't know how much your doctors and nurses are making last year, but my guess is an NFL owner, a franchise, a team, they're very interested in mapping and making sure that their massive, massive investment that's going to be on Sunday, that's going to dictate if you go to a Super Bowl, which is going to, out of a $15 billion a year business, which is the NFL, we got to make sure we take care of our athletes and we got to get them back to work and we got to get them back to work safely. So that means monitoring their home life, tracking who they are hanging out with, where they're going, and then obviously exposing themselves at their work environment, which is sweating, spitting, coughing, exertion, touching weights, touching trainers, people that are in the executive rooms, like everybody, in order for this thing to function properly, you have to kind of succumb and submit yourself to a new norm when it comes to your everyday routine. You know what I mean? Especially parents and teachers and kids and stuff. It's like, it's beyond. So this company
is highly fascinating.
No, this company is I'll put it this way. I told him.
All right, so I had no idea that any of this.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Like this is complete news to me.
Yeah,
so I don't want people to think that I brought you on for this reason.
No. And I didn't come on for that reason either. And legitimately, I'm just like, hey man, this can really work athletically. Like whatever the verticals that you got going on right now in the university and the nursing fields and the medical fields and the hospitals. Yeah, there's a lot of tie over, when it comes to the athletics as well. And then they also have programs for our school systems.
All right, so I'm going to segue into the slippery slope conversation. Is there a slippery slope there? Like, I mean,
they have a 99.
Let's just play devil's advocate, all right, with that comment, because I don't want to like offend you with that comment, because whatever. But it has potential to be like people control.
It is. It's legal Big Brother. That's ultimately what it is. And due to the fact that their company legally is allowed to do this, and like I said, that's why
the participation has to be voluntary.
You do.
Yeah.
It's very similar to what, President of the University of Miami, Julio Frank, was talking about last week, was in order for us to get back to whatever our new normal is going to be, you can't have like what's going on overseas in Europe, because a lot of American businesses and corporations and enterprises were actually consulting with Asia, because Asia got their numbers down relatively quickly, if you know what I mean. Like all of a sudden they have a massive outbreak.
Do you trust those numbers
That's the best part about it.
At first at all?
I never trust a word from coming out over there.
Yeah.
So what happened is a lot of people started consulting certain people over there that were letting them know about the real results, where, for instance, they use a thing called QRC codes now, which is a lot of what Apple and Google might be getting into in terms of people taking their temperature in the morning and they input their temperature. So you have to have the honesty policy there. But in order to go ahead and travel around overseas in Singapore and in Asia, you have to put those numbers in, because you won't be able to use any of the public transportation system. So for instance, when you show up, you show on your phone, okay, you're good, green. You're allowed to get on the train or the bus or public transportation. So they're lying through their teeth over there. But only 12% of the population participated in this. All of a sudden.
In Asia.
Yeah. So imagine 88% of the people, and then 2 million and something cell phone people, like people that have cell phone accounts, disappeared. So they no longer have cell phones.
I've heard that.
Like, how the hell is that possible? You're telling me all of a sudden 2 million people aren't paying their cell phone bill, or they don't have a cell phone anymore? No. So a lot of the stuff that's coming from over there is very jaded and skewed numbers. And then you're never going to get the president of the United States here saying, you guys have to use Apple. Right. You guys have to use Google. And each of them have their own different apps. Each of them have their own different platforms. So, and they all can't conform to the certain laws that you're put into place for human rights. So they don't have HIPAA. They don't have FERPA. They can't. That's just the way they are. They just can't abide by those rules. Whereas this company, Castle Branch, can. So it's freaking amazing. And I told them when I was sitting there talking to him, I've been like losing sleep over this the last like week and a half because I'm excited about the program. I'm excited about, because I legitimately think this, we can get back to an organized way of life. Although we're going to have to sacrifice some of our freedoms, we can get back to an organized way of life through this platform and through the way that this tool can help navigate people. It's fascinating. Like they really think of everything.
I'm such a middle of the road guy when it comes to, like, how's the best way to say this? The right and wrong thing to do right now, right? Like, so I kind of like, I'm a proponent of opening back up, right? Because
as am I.
An economic disaster, both domestically and globally, is going to do a hell of a lot more harm than people think it will.
Oh yeah,
right. Like, you want people are going to be dying from starvation.
You're going to get desperate people. Like my mother-in-law showed up at my house yesterday.
Crime is going to run rampant. Like bad things will happen.
My mother-in-law was like, hurry up, get to the grocery store and buy food. And I'm like, for what? She's like, because there's a meat shortage. I was like,
yeah. Well,
I said, where'd you hear this? And she said, on the news this morning, they showed me a Publix that had no meat on the shelves, like the paper towel area. And I was like, And she goes, hurry up and get to Publix and buy some meat. And I was like, man, F that. Let me get in the car and like go to Montana and go hunting.
Right.
Or fill my freezer or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, don't make me go up to somebody's farm and leave with a black Angus cow in the back of my truck or something. You know what I mean? I was going to head up on over to Lake Okeechobee, see on the top side if there's anything up in New Haven, something, man. Get a whole plethora of different game. But yeah, it's like, it really is.
But I also feel like we need to be respectful. Like if you want to wear a mask around someone who like isn't comfortable, then put the mask on.
I'll never
just to make them feel comfortable. You got to we still all got to live together.
Well, the thing is my mother-in-law, she's older, she suffers from asthma and she's got bad allergies all the time and stuff like that. So I'll never want to be responsible for bringing that into my house.
They're dealing with a different deck of cards than we are.
Exactly. I get it. You want to live a healthy lifestyle and be selfish and not worry about others. It's not about you, it's about the other people. But I am like, I'm so jaded with the way that I feel because I'm naturally selfish. We all are as human beings, but I think I'm a little above and beyond because of the way I am, the athlete thing and, always striving and being better than other people and all that other stuff. I'm not saying that I am, but that's just my mentality of I have to be, I need to be like my little brother's not like me at all. I'm totally different. And part of me, the selfish, egotistical part of me is I'm healthy. I'm young. I'm strong. Ethic.
I'm an athlete.
Only the strong survive. Caveman style. Just meathead. Just clueless about the sacrifices that others have already made for me in order to go ahead and be the person that I am today. I wrestle with that once in a while, and I'll sit here and although I'll want to go outside and yell at somebody for telling me to put a mask on, it's like you can't. Like you just can't. You just have to have be respectful to other people. I'll never tell anybody what to do, especially if it comes to making my life a more convenient place. I'll never be that guy. I'll always show respect to other people and stuff. But man, the few that affect the many when it comes to this thing, although the numbers are staggering in terms of hearing about people that are dying related to COVID, nobody's dying from COVID. They're dying in related co-diseases to COVID. And, whether they got it going on in Italy right now. I don't know if you saw the big rant that they had in Parliament in Italy about that congressman.
So I caught kind of towards a little bit of the end of your show today on the way into the studio, and you were talking about Italy and that you guys were thinking about maybe moving there. So I only caught like a little bit of what you were saying, and then I had someone in the studio, so I had to run in from the truck.
Got it.
But I didn't catch the whole story.
So the situation in Italy, obviously, that was one of the more hotbedded spots outside of China when this thing first started, right? Everybody was so concerned because of the amount of people that were dying from Italy. And then within the next week and a half after all of those staggering numbers started pouring out, here, the message that we were receiving was it's because they're old and it's because they smoke.
Right.
So the majority of their population being as old as they are, and even our own mayor here, Jimenez in Miami-Dade, was saying, well, it's because they're old, number one, and it's because a hell of a lot of them smoke. And we have more ventilators at Baptist Hospital than Italy had as a whole country of like 60 million people. Yeah. Yeah. And our ventilators are sitting, like not doing anything.
It's socialized medicine.
It's crazy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. And then obviously the recipe for disaster with COVID is putting you on a ventilator. It's like the opposite thing that you want to do. It's like a death sentence.
Right.
And that's the reason why the death rates are so high when it comes to being put on that stuff. But apparently what happened in Italy the other day in their parliament was they had a guy getting up there and addressing, he was a member of parliament. I don't know what he was, some representative. But he kept addressing the president and talking about the jaded message that the world is getting about Italy and how like weak they looked in terms of the eyes of the European Union and all this other stuff. And they're like legitimate fact numbers of if you consult their health ministers and their research records of how people are dying over there, it's not because they're getting paid $13,000 per Medicare patient of COVID or $39,000 like we're getting paid here in terms of each patient that gets put on a ventilator. It was more along the lines of just making the numbers more impactful for them over there. So 96.3% of the people that were actually dying over there wasn't dying from the COVID situation. They would label it as the COVID situation. And it was really remarkable. And then people were getting upset. And the whole 25,000 number of people dying over there was a total farce as well. So, you know, it's the whole...
It's insane. See, this is what I was talking about earlier. It's like, it's such a shame that it has to like... The infrastructure has to be so penetrated this way that to where things are getting skewed. And like, why can't it just be straight up truth, man?
At the end of the day, it's just dollar. It's just money,
it's money.
Man.
It's all greed.
It always is, man. If you look, they always say follow the money, you know, follow it to the, like I talked about it today, since when did Bill and Melinda Gates become medical experts?
They have no business being involved in this whatsoever.
But all you hear now, I never even knew.
Unless they've had their hooks in it for so long now, as from an investment standpoint.
And you always wonder about stuff like that.
Right?
When you realize who's
That's the only reason that they have to really be opening their mouths.
You always got to look back and find out who benefits from stuff like this, from tragedy, who benefits from war, who benefits.
There's been things with Fauci's been tied to like a lot of these.
Oh yeah, back in the day. Back in the day.
You know.
Apparently, he was responsible for the delay in the HIV pandemic cure. He was about a year delay because he was the one that got his hands on it and patenting a lot of stuff, and he was one of the main ones that ended up freeing up universities from getting patents. Like now you can have a member of parliament or a member in office, a congressman, that can file for and petition for patents. So you could have them find a way to get their patent and delay anybody else's to get out via their, conflict of interest. And then all of a sudden their stuff comes out. And now you're buying their vaccine or you're buying their investment.
That's insane.
Dude, it's crazy. Like, and I'm not a conspiracy theory guy.
No, but people want to make fun of this, I can't remember how to say her name again, but the doctor that with pandemic thing.
Right? Mikovits or something like her name was?
Yeah. So, all right, maybe some of this shit she said might have been, controversial or like, hey, is that really true? But there was a lot of things that she said that lined up.
Totally.
Like, all right, it's not all just this, that, whether you think that she's kind of like batshit crazy or whatever,
right.
You know what I mean? That's your opinion on it. That's
correct.
Fine. But there were some things that looked like they were factually lining up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, 100%.
What
about 2020 so far? What do you think? Personally, were you guys doing good in 2020? Is this like your year?
We were doing, honestly, we're still doing great, to be honest with you. Like, 2020, I mean, started off with a bang for us, because we also go right into the Jimmy Johnson. So we go to like Jimmy Johnson planning.
Thank God he got that thing in.
Yeah, it's a big event for us every year. We try to go all in for that one. And, we got a ton of projects lined up, because most of the stuff we do here is custom work, for big boat guys and tournaments and different things.
So are you doing a lot of wraps and stuff like that? Is that
ton of wraps all day long, and a ton of apparel and like a lot of the, the shirts and the custom design for these guys. And man, you really manhandle that shit. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, dude, that was impressive.
It ain't my first rodeo.
All right, for those of you not watching on YouTube, Brett's just completely manhandling.
I'll rape a wing.
Wow.
They don't even stand a chance.
That is the truth.
Yeah, I got my little technique. Everybody wants to know about a technique.
Did you see that?
How to eat a wing.
Serious. That was good
stuff.
So
if you're doing the flats, like this is, I should have just been able to spun out this little knuckle here, but yeah, you just rip that wooden knuckle out and you twist, and usually this whole bone will come out, that little mini one.
Yep.
And then
you split it in two.
Yeah. And then you just cream it up. Like,
I love the flats.
Good for you, brother.
The drums are okay, but I like the flats more.
See, I'm a drum guy. Just because I'll just sit there and eat it like,
You peel it around.
It's like, Alabama on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm just having a little chicken wing here. But, yeah, so, 2020 is great for us. We're doing good, and we're in, with Connected by Water and everything like that, and with Harris coming in and investing in the company, and, we're...
What do you mean, Harris?
All right, so Harris, that's my partner. Mm-hmm. Harris Katz. Coolest guy you ever meet in your entire life, and I mean that, right?
Is he a local guy?
He is a local guy. He's got a place down there in Tavernier.
Oh, really?
Yep. He lives here in Parkland, but he's got a place down in Tavernier here too. He runs the Takizi boat, and that's Takizi House down there. Yeah,
I see that, yeah.
That's Harris, and ever since he kind of came in, that really kind of put a adrenaline shot in our arm, and
cool.
We really ramped.
Does he divulge what he made his money in or his business? What his cream of his crop is, or does he keep that a secret?
No. So he is the founding member of a company called Tech Partners, which is an IT recruiting firm. A hugely successful firm. They branched off and they created Med Partners, which then did recruiting for the medical industry and things like that. So, and they did pretty well in that sector. But he's really, at the end of the day, he's just a guy just like us, hanging out and loves to fish, loves to hunt, and just really loves to hang out, and and he's just good to the people that are around him, like really good. Like he's just like one of the coolest, nicest guys.
He's been like, I've been blessed, so I'm going to go ahead and pay it forward kind of thing.
Yeah, right, for sure.
Good guy.
But it's just kind of like, this is how he is. You know what I mean? He's just really, everyone that he's just like one of those people that just have that vibe that people just gravitate towards. Yep. You know what I mean?
You got that energy, man.
That's him, man.
You got that light.
It just naturally comes out of him. So, yeah, so ever since Harris came into the studio, we really, just exponentially just made us that much better. And, so we've been having a great year so far. And even through all this, thank God, we were working from home once we had, the whole Friday the 13th happened, the March 13th. You know what I mean? And once we shut it down on Friday the 13th, we're like, well, we're going to go home because we don't really know what's going on. Right, so
better safe than sorry. Yeah,
better safe than sorry. And I told you before, I was kind of feeling a little shitty too with the sinus thing. And I was like, all right, let's all go home, because especially if I'm not feeling good, I don't want to mess you guys up. So whatever. So we did that, and then we had to kind of grab a computer from here and bring it home and set up my operation at home. And Jenny set up her operation up at her house and everything like that. And we had, and then the other people, and John couldn't come in, and so we're like, well, what the hell? So we started working from home. And we debated doing even the podcast remotely through Zoom, and we set it up, but then at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't even want to do that. You know what I mean?
It'd be more of a pain in the ass than anything. Yeah,
it'd be more of a pain in the ass than anything else. And then do people really want to see that anyway? I think people enjoy watching the show from the studio.
Of course.
But so after a while, we're like, well, it's really kind of just us, so let's just come into the studio. Before any open up was called or anything like that, I'm like, I saw the kind of the numbers coming down a little bit, and especially in Coral Springs, we're not as bad as other parts of Broward. So I'm like, let's go into the studio, and figure out, just how to do it, because it's really just at this point, just me and Jenny can operate the whole business from here on our own.
Got it.
And then everyone else can work from home. So, but we're here, we're good, and we're rocking and rolling. We're all caught up now, supposedly. I think with a lot of our projects, we fell behind a little bit.
Gotcha.
Because we weren't expecting people to just keep calling in for project requests. It's like, oh shit, okay, we're staying busy. You know what I mean? We thought for sure we'd be like, no one's going to want to spend money on doing their own custom shirts and everything like that. Yeah,
man, I was wondering that, but I noticed in the boating industry too, no, they're not hurting.
We deal mostly with captains. So if a captain's not out, then I guess the theory that we came up with is going to be like, well, I might as well get those shirts done now. You know what I mean? Might as well get that wrap scheduled.
100%.
Things like that. We're like, all right, cool. Well, we benefited from it.
I was at Publix yesterday, and I was in the seafood area because I was trying to grab a couple extra things, and there I could tell the guy was a captain, 100%, and he was the captain of what the hell was it? I think it was a Merit. He had a 68 Merit or something like that. Sure, it might even have been a 74, and he had the boat and the shirt on, and hell, it could have been his boat. I don't know. But my guess is the owner of a 74 Merit is not out doing the grocery shopping for his own boat. No. My guess.
No. Yeah. I think you're accurate.
Yeah. And he was just killing everything in that poor seafood lady aisle. It was just, I'll get some of those tails. And then she was like, how many? He's like 12. He's like getting 12 tails, all the muscles you could find. Give me all the scallops. He was just buying everything. Clearly getting ready to go out and do a fishing mission probably for the next week or so.
Right.
But yeah, it was like, damn it. I ended up having to leave because I was waiting forever. I said, frick, I'm going to go walk, do another lap, and I'll come back. Hopefully he's done by the time I come back. But man, they
where this was where?
Right in Pinecrest, where I'm at.
Pinecrest, yeah. You're in Pinecrest. And you got a place down at 88 too.
Yeah, I'm in Venetian Shores down in Islamorada, and then I'm up here in Gables by the Sea.
Is your boat down there?
No, my boat's up here.
Your boat's up here. What kind of boat do you
have? Pursuit.
I love the Pursuit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, I got the offshore. Yeah,
yeah,
big bad boy. I just love the outboard, and I was thinking about going with inboards, but my main idea, because we just built that house in Islamorada back in 2016, I think it was. So I was like, yeah, not many like crazy outboards unless I'm like going to the Bahamas from here, which I wouldn't. I'd go to the Bahamas from my place up here. It'd be a lot easier to run.
Yeah, you don't want to go from down there.
So I'm like, plus I like doing a lot of sandbar stuff, reef fishing, things like that. If I'm going to go on an offshore mission, I'd rather like go on somebody else's boat, to be honest with you.
Right.
So lucky for me, I got some friends that have some boats that I can.
That's kind of how I am too. It's like, I mean, especially working in the industry that I am in.
Of course, man. You can jump on a boat.
I have no business buying like a 39 yellowfin. What for? You know what I mean? I can pick up the phone anytime I want and be like, hey, can I ride with you guys this weekend?
Yeah, totally.
And it's not a big deal, right? So my wife and I are going to look at like a little bay boat just for us and the family.
Well, I got
the Keys and
in the Keys, I have a little Hughes. I got a little fart around Redfisher Hughes that is like my favorite sandbar boat in the world.
Yeah.
I run a boat. Yeah, I run up, zing it right up to the sandbar. I hop out of the boat, stick my pole in. I don't have to worry about anchor. I don't have to worry about anything. Whereas obviously, your bigger boats, you got to worry about wind and currents and moving and low tide and high tide. And am I going to bottom all this other crap where, with the little 18-footer, man, who cares? That's what I look at it as like, who gives a you know what I mean? Who gives a shit? Who cares?
I debated because we're looking at a boat now. So I really, if it's just me, I'm buying a flats boat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, I got to think about the kids and the wife.
Maybe a little T-top,
you know what I mean? So
little bay boat or something. Yeah. Little 22, 23, 24 footer or something.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you something, get your opinion, right? I know we talked a lot about all the current events and all that other crap.
Yeah. We got it out of the way. Yeah. Yep.
There's other current events too that I want to talk to you about, right? Like the fact that we just drafted a brand new quarterback.
Hell yeah, man.
So are you willing to talk about the Tua thing? Because I'm pretty stoked about it.
You should be.
Personally, because I was pulling for Tua like the whole time, and it's on Facebook record, just in case anyone wants to double check that.
Were you nervous that they were going to go the other route and try to pick up
I was nervous
Herbert?
that they were going to that they might have gone Herbert, but then like the last couple days before the draft, I was like, if Tua's there, they have to take him.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
I was more worried about the jumping around that they might have to do in terms of
San Diego was going to jump him.
Yeah, and then they would in turn have to get rid of something to jump ahead of them to maybe work with Detroit to try to see if they could pull something.
I really thought it was. I did think it was going to turn into a shit show.
It was the most lamest, predictable draft, which was okay, and it was understandable because let's face it, working from home or having a GM in one location, a head coach in another location, it was too many moving parts going on as was. Hell, Goodell was in his own basement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in order to pull off the Jimmy Johnsons of the world, those 5 draft picks and deals and bartering and going back and forth, that needed to be done a long time before the draft was even going to happen. And who knows at that point in time if these GMs or these owners would be keeping their word, So I kind of had a pretty good idea, especially when the Miami Dolphins medical staff was the one that ultimately did his final little physical. Right. In order to go ahead and get back into the.
When I heard that, I'm like, we're getting him. Yeah. But also too, to that point that you just mentioned about all that stuff would happen beforehand. Mm-hmm. Once something didn't happen about Joe Burrow, which obviously that was a long shot for us to cut a deal for that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But once a day or two before the draft, nothing happened with the Burrow situation. I knew nothing was going to happen. There was going to be no trade up on day.
Well, I wouldn't say that organizations
you
are
think
influenced.
They would have to have made that deal ahead of time.
Oh yeah, long before. Long before. Just like Joe Burrows didn't look surprised or shocked or hell, at the beginning of the broadcast they were talking about Joe Burrows going to Cincinnati anyway before the pick was even set. You know, it's like everything's basically already slotted. And sometimes they actually do tell them, "I'm picking you number 1 or whatever," long before. So it's not even an issue to be argued about. The one thing that I thought was going to be a problem is the response that people started having, or the outlash of disgust when people were rumored that the Miami Dolphins weren't going to pick a Tua at the beginning of that draft, which was
they're going to go lineman first.
Yeah, if you're going to pick a tackle,
first, yeah.
Like Christ's sakes, if they pulled the old Jake Long thing again, or
they had to do it.
They had to pull a quarterback, and I think a lot of that is like developed. People don't understand this. I imagine they hear it, but there's a lot of rumors that get started within the facility in order to go ahead and get those projected. Not only to find out leaks, who talks to media, who talks to our local Barry Jacksons and the different sports writers out there. But they also do it to try to go ahead and let the other teams think they got something hot, like some hot nugget info that nobody else is privy to, that, the Miami Dolphins might be thinking of moving or changing a pick. And then obviously you're just, you're throwing out bait. That's all. You're chumming, ultimately.
Such a business, man.
It is. Oh, that's the one thing about.
All right, so obviously college and pro, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to see a drastic difference between the way the college ranks are run and the pro ranks are run. You being in 100%. Both, and especially you being a veteran in 9 years you were in the NFL?
9 years I did it. And to be perfectly honest, what NFL does is it robs you of the love of the game, because you see the worst of professional sports. You see the cutting, you see the screwing you out of contract, they see you screwing you out of money, they see them trying to push you onto the football field when you're not able to, like you're hurt, so they'll drug the hell out of you. They oh my God, dude, the stuff that I ended up having to take sometimes was like my cocktails. I had a pregame and a halftime cocktail, and then you usually have
halftime too.
Oh yeah, like my halftime one had a piece of tape around the middle of it, and they come in like little Gatorade cups. And
is that on autopilot? All this stuff?
Oh yeah,
really?
Oh yeah, your body, you don't feel, and it's a big joke.
There's never like, no, I'm good.
No, man. No, it's you're when I'm walking in with my suit and I got my bag over my shoulder and I drop my thing in my locker, I got my 2 cups already in there. Doctors have already been in the facility. They're putting everybody's pregame cocktails in their lockers. You don't need to ask for anything else. They already know. And if you need more, you might have to go in and grab more. That's when you'll talk to them. But they already know your pregame routine. And it's like Vicodins, painkillers, Toradol, whether you're doing a shot in the ass or you're taking it with a pill. Nowadays, obviously, a lot of kids take the pills, so you don't have to go ahead and take the shot in the ass, so you don't have the blood stain on your pants. But man, I remember after I spun my foot around in up in Seattle playing against the Seahawks, on the way home, I ended up taking 8 Vicodin. I drank about a bottle of vodka, and I got a Toradol shot before I even got on the bird. And I was walking around the facility at like 3:30 in the morning saying, man, I think I'll be good for next weekend's game. I think I'm going to be all right. I woke up that next day, and I could have sworn I wanted somebody to cut my foot off. I was like, get rid of my foot, man. This thing was so bad, snapped, brutal, just brutal. And I thought I was going to be able to like play the following week. Nah, man, I was out for like 3 or 4 weeks after that.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, they doped the hell out of you.
Bottle of vodka.
Oh, yeah. Drink a whole bottle of vodka. They doped the hell out of you. Your body, your liver, whatever. Like you see all the anti-inflammatory lawsuits that are coming across the TV nowadays, whether it's Celebrex or Indocin or whatever it is, man, it'll just chew your insides up. So you're taking, at one point, I think I was taking about 38 pills a day between vitamins, branched chain amino acids, anti-inflammatories, painkillers,
you have to have
everything, muscle relaxers. Oh, you have to, yeah, of course. I think that's probably, to be perfectly honest with you, I think that's why I ended up having like that widowmaker within a year after leaving the NFL, having like that, 3 stents in my heart, and almost going down from a heart attack kind of thing. And yeah, it was. I think that played a big factor in that.
I'm sorry.
For what?
I don't know, man. That's like, I feel like I need to say I'm sorry. That's tough.
My wife needs to say I'm sorry. God damn it, she's gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me. God damn it. I've already told her. You only got about 10 more years left with me. You'll be good after that. You'll be good after that.
That's hardcore, Brett.
Mm-hmm.
That's hardcore.
Well, again, I think I've gone on record and said it a lot of times, but
I'm not trying to push on topics, by the way.
No. You know me. I got no filter in my mouth. I'm fine. It is one of those career paths where you kind of know what you're getting into. There's no way that a 300-pound man can run into another 300-pound man as fast as they want to, and come out okay. Like, how can you sit there and say headbutting a soccer ball full of air is the same as running into another 300 20-pound human being as hard as you can, leading with your forehead. It's not.
No.
And, and they're
blood
trying to
and bones and meat and
man. It's
shit
your
bouncing
brain,
around inside.
Yeah, your brain's floating around like crazy. I know so many guys that are the toughest dudes in the world, and then they get a concussion and they're crying on the sideline. They're throwing up on themselves. I'll never forget. I almost broke down. Actually, I was doing a Nick Bonacani thing at Bell Harbor, and it was a fundraiser. And me and Zach Thomas. We were walking out together, and they used to call me Little ZT. And when I was in college at mine, because we had the same square bucket head, white dudes with the square jaw and that kind of thing. Even though Zach was smaller than me, but he knew me, I knew him, and we started having really good conversations as I was getting older and getting into the NFL and stuff. And he kind of was my little. I keep using the word little. He was kind of like I never was enamored or in awe of any players by any means. Even like Marino and those guys, because I was buddies with Bernie Kosar. So like Bernie and Marino were good buddies. And but I did always kind of go like, oh, there's Zach. There's
Zach's
Zach.
the man.
He's kind of like he's kind of like my older brother. You know what I mean?
Zach's the man. He's cool as shit too.
He's awesome, man. He's a sweetheart, man. He's a good dude. And we were chopping it up, talking, and he was asking me how my nugget is, and I was asking him how he's doing because I knew he had some bad stuff going on. And he told me that there was times where he wasn't allowed. The trainers wouldn't let him sit down on the bench because if he sat down, he'd fall asleep during games, in the middle of a game, just out. So he wasn't even able to sit down on the bench because he'd fall asleep.
Zach was such an animal.
Psycho. Crazy dude. That was his burp, not my burp, by the way.
Oh, that was me.
That was just mouth open, just.
Yeah, I'll put the frame on there so they see I did it.
Yeah, the burp meter, just like we do with Rhonda. My friend Rhonda comes on the show every now and then.
Oh, really?
She snorts when she laughs, so we always put the snort meter.
Oh, I
up.
like that. That's cool.
Yeah, so ding.
That's
like
good
one
editing.
time she got up to like 16.
Oh God, that's good editing.
John does all this shit. Like, it's good. So all right. The funny. Well, I'm not going to tell the funny Zach Thomas story because he might come down here and just like pummel me if I tell him. I fear Zach Thomas.
Oh, he's in great shape still.
Yeah, blatantly
still
obvious
in great
that
shape.
Every man should fear Zach Thomas. But okay, so he did the Jimmy Johnson one year, and he fished with my buddies on OCD, which is a studio team and stuff like that. So Justin was calling me, and he's like, dude, you got to come down to Ocean Reef tonight? I'm like, yeah, well, I have to come down there because Jimmy's got to send the guitar that I painted that year and stuff like that. So we were hanging out with Zach Thomas. I'm like, Zach, it's great to finally meet you. You're my all-time favorite player, which is not a lie. Right?
He might be mine, too, to be honest with you.
On my top 10 list, he's my all-time favorite player. Right? I'm like, Zach, blah, blah. I'm like, half of my PIN number, like I had to change my PIN numbers ever since then because I told the story so many times. Like half my PIN number is 54.
That's awesome.
Right? And he goes, I bet you the other half is 99. I'm like, oh my God, you're right.
You got to change it now. So it's basically him and JT.
Yeah, him and JT, right? I'm like, yeah. So
how many people do you think in Miami had that same PIN number as you?
Yeah, probably a lot. But
yeah, now thinking about it.
I don't think it was the first time he heard that story.
That's actually a great point. JT, another good dude. Like, very few and far between you'll find guys that are amazing on the football field that are putting up the numbers and the Hall of Fame credentials that those two individuals have, and also be good people. Like,
right.
Zach came from a hell of a lot of money, a wealthy family, got that Texas oil money, and just good. Like his sister, the one that was married to Jason, just sweet, just good people, man.
Yeah.
And Jason's a good dude too. He's soft spoken, he's nice, good dad. He just very rare you're gonna find that kind of mixture of guys, especially in that barbaric sport.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and we quoted Jason Taylor we did one episode back with Jeff Maggio a few days ago. And we kind of gave our shout out to Don Shula, our gratuitous shout out to Does. Everyone should. But I think Jason Taylor really had the best quote about Don Shula, where and I'm paraphrasing, where he said, Don Shula is the standard of what it means to be a Miami Dolphin, what it means to wear the rock and orange, what everyone should try to live up to. And it was kind of true. I think it was really the best way to kind of explain that. Because how do you sum up what Don Shula was in like a paragraph?
Right. It's true. Almost in like a eulogy. Yeah. It's kind of difficult to do
books, that. About the guy.
Yeah.
And what he meant to South Florida,
I always find it impressive. You'll find more out about an individual when they die than you will when they're living. Mm-hmm. And I find that because they're always going to ask somebody that is very important to the rest of the world what they thought about that individual, especially if they were like a famous individual, And in hearing guys like Pat Riley or Jason Taylor or, Stephen Ross or even, our current head coach, Brian Flores, that really doesn't know Don Shula the way that a lot of other people do in town. And you notice that Danny really never said much either, because I imagine Danny is probably just shook from the news of hearing something like that. But hearing a guy like Pat Riley coming from the West Coast and talking about his early moments on here in South Florida as a coach and as a person in the office, how ultimately learning how to be a Miamian, if you will, off of basically the back of what Don Shula has done. And Dan Lebitard wrote an amazing article as well.
As he usually does.
He's so goddamn articulate,
he's good, man.
Oh, God. He's
a treasure. I don't think people understand fully how much of a treasure he is down in South Florida, what we have in Dan Lebitard.
He's a goddamn weirdo, though. Like, if you meet him in person, Danny does not want to have a conversation. And ironically, when he does, my wife left the one time we were doing something.
I've never met him personally.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
So my wife knows about Danny quite a bit, and we would go to Dan's events, and Dan would always come over and start wrecking me about how fat and ugly I am and how I got a good-looking wife and stuff. But he would do it so eloquently. You know what I mean? He would give you every metaphor,
He's a linguist.
Simile, pun you could think of in a 3-sentence fragment
without having to use like or as.
No, zero, no pause in the action. just super articulate, very, very witty. Right. And my wife was like, "Does he always talk like that?" And I said, "Yeah, he talks like he's writing you a fucking story. That's the way that he is." You know that, and I don't know if that's just him, because sometimes, yes, Danny is very socially awkward. But man, I've never sat there and listened to somebody talk and have to go, what the fuck does that mean? Well, I got to go get a thesaurus right now. Like, I can't figure out half the shit that he's telling me sometimes because his vocabulary is just strong.
He wants to get all academia on.
Oh, totally. Of course, he wants to let me know that I'm a lot dumber than he is, which is
that's
usually
why they
the case.
do it.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I'm like telling him sometimes, dumb it down for me, man. Like leave me alone with it for a minute.
So I made you lose your track of thought because you were talking about how when people like Pat Riley and famous people eulogize others. I want you to finish that thought. Yeah. It sounded like I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. I tend to ramble anyway, but
and I'm about to go for number 3 here.
I'm gonna have to open a land shark too. I'll finish my blue here, and then I'll get into that gold bottle,
and then I might have to take off for the rest of the day.
I always take off the rest of the day. Cheers. And so what I was saying is I tend to find more about people from stories of others. And sometimes, they might be fishing tales. You got to take everything with a grain of salt in everything you do in life, no matter what.
Right, kind of like COVID numbers.
Exactly. You got to take everything. You got to just, do your own homework on it, think about it and make your own educated opinion on it. But hearing guys that don't have to say something nice, do say something nice, or don't have to paint a better picture for an individual, because let's face it, I know a lot of people that think that Don Shula was a total asshole as a coach, a drill sergeant.
Right.
And it's very hard to live that multiple personality life of being Bill Belichick on the field, but being a cool family man on the side. Like, people don't know that Bill is funny as hell and badass when it comes to being around.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah, man.
I thought the funniest thing that happened in the entire draft was the fact that he put his dog in that chair.
Do you know that Nike wanted the hell?
That was flipping hilarious.
They want him on the
dog.
They want to sign him to do shit now.
Come on.
Oh no, they want NFL game. They want that dog on the first. Oh no,
dude, that was the funniest shit.
That dog sometimes has
entire
more.
3 days.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah. And Bill, obviously,
he kept every time he knew when he was on camera. He kept walking off camera.
Oh yeah, he said, "I'm gonna let these guys play with the dog for a minute." Yeah, he's a good dude, man. Like people think, especially down here in Miami, people can't stand him and they think he's a cheap bastard and all that stuff.
You saw the picture that was floating around at Don Shula. It said Dolphins 52, Patriots nothing.
When? Who put that out there?
There was a picture of him, and the assistant coach was smoking a cigarette on the sidelines.
Oh, really?
When we get out of here, I'll bring up my computer. I'll show it to you, right? Yeah, it's like the most epic Don Shula fall. So here, people forget how bad the Patriots used to be. Like, they used to be horrible.
Oh, of course. Even when I was playing.
Worst team in the league.
When Drew Bledsoe was their quarterback.
Just before that's when it all turned, right?
Yeah.
The Miami Dolphins still hold the all-time record against them. That's how flippin' bad they used to be.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's cool. I I know, because you always got to take everything again with a grain of salt.
So now everyone's the Dolphin fans are like, oh, Belichick and Brady, and it's like, oh, it's like a one-shot deal, and then Brady like kept winning, and Belichick kept winning, and it was like, you sons of bitches, can't do this.
Yeah, that two-headed monster.
So yeah, we hate them.
I could see that, and the New York too is another one.
And
too,
again,
right?
this goes down to the fan perspective, the pro perspective. So you might look at things differently.
I think I look at things differently than even a lot of the like professional athletes out there. Like not only do you look at it as like a paycheck and whoever pays your mortgage, that's who you're a fan of.
Right.
But my allegiances are more, and I'm sure you've heard me say this before too, like on the radio and stuff, is I just love dudes. I like for instance, I'm a huge fan of your art now because I got to hang out with you and aside from obviously seeing it earlier on, like, you know what I mean? Going to Jimmy Johnson's thing and seeing, I'm like, oh hell, this is freaking badass art. But now that I know you more and know you as a person, I'm a huge fan now. And I feel like I think that's the way a lot of people should approach things in life is don't be putting people up on a goddamn pedestal. Like never meet your heroes kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because
totally.
Heaven forbid some kid goes up there and asks for an autograph and, you know, the guy yells at him and barks at him, tells him to get the hell away. And then now that kid goes away, tells his parents tell 50 other people, and you know how word spreads. Yep. And that guy could have just been having a bad day. So I'm a big fan of people. I'm a big fan of teams because I know a couple guys on that team and I love those guys more than anything. And I think that's one thing that you can go ahead and hang your hat on as an athlete is it's not so much of the game that you're missing. It's the relationships of the guys in the locker room. The fact that you don't have to abide by, you know, human resources rules in real world. You know what I mean? The fact that you're
above it all.
It really is a fairy tale. Yeah. That lifestyle is like being able to go to work. Perfect example, being able to go to work and to kill time in the office, taking tensor bandage wraps, wrapping it around my deal and running up over to the linebackers, which mind you, that linebacker section, predominantly dark. Very rare you're going to get a white dude in that linebacker section. You know what I mean? Right. It's predominantly all the black dudes.
Right.
And I'll run up there and I'll just tape my deal up and act like I got a bat going on. And I'm like asking them if they want to play wiffle ball. You can't do that in corporate America. You know what I mean? You just can't do stuff like that. So this is where I enjoyed football. Man. And then another one was...
The third beer is where we get them, John. The third beer is where it all happens.
And another one is everybody knows about my famous Thanksgiving Day my Thanksgiving Day football game is usually if you're in season and the team is active and they're not playing on Thursdays or whatever the Thanksgiving would be on. It's usually Thursday right here in America, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And in Canada, we got different Thanksgiving. Our Thanksgiving is
like
in
the day after.
Ours is in like around my birthday in October, like 10th or 11th or something like that. And then you guys got the November 20 something or others.
I thought there was one holiday where we had like one.
That's Memorial. That's the one coming up. We got Canadian Victoria Day is a week before Memorial. So
gotcha.
Yeah, that's how that works out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like everything that travels down the St. Lawrence River. You know, Christopher Columbus stopped in Canada first. You know, took that place over a little bit and then came down, and a couple weeks later he's down here. So you guys get the Columbus Day and all that other stuff too. So,
that was burp number 2 that just happened.
You ripped another one off?
Yeah, I did.
Congratulations.
I tried to let that one go like a...
Oh, it's just straight air.
Yeah.
Just COVID.
But it happened.
Got it. Just COVID came out the mouth. But yeah, like my Thanksgiving Day game was impressive because we would end practice early and, you know, the team would let you get home and get out and spend Thanksgiving with your family. So you do about a half a day on those Thursdays if you weren't playing. And I usually came out as the referee. But what they didn't know is I would come out with my shirt cut in half. So I'd have my gut hanging out. I would have...
we have pictures of this, right?
The crazy thing is this is like, you know, back in the 2008 through 2012, and I would legitimately cut the whole crotch of my shorts out. And I'm running out with like a whistle, hot pink shirt, doing cartwheels across the field, and the media members are there too, just like, Jesus Christ, Romberg, again. But it got to the point where, you know, people were looking forward to the Thanksgiving game, you know, and I'm talking about on the practice field.
Is this in Canada?
No, this was for the Falcons.
Oh, was it Atlanta?
Oh, yeah, this was in the NFL, man. We used to, man, I used to get away with a lot of stuff over there.
Who were you blocking for in Atlanta then?
Matt Ryan.
What year was it?
Matty.
That was early on in Matt Ryan.
Yeah, that was Matt's
Devonta
second
Freeman
year.
wasn't there yet, though, right?
No, Devonta ended up going there after I left, and it was like Michael Turner, Jarius Norwood was our running backs.
Right.
Just after the Dirty Bird.
Yeah, I was going to say no before, Dirty. You're probably after the Dirty Bird.
Yeah, after the Dirty Bird. Matt's second year. I never got Michael Vick either.
I saw that dude make a throw down here in person.
Sick rocket, man. Sick. Crazy slinger.
I'm
crazy.
serious. Listen, I know that dude's done a lot of amazing things in his career. Whatever opinion you have of Michael Vick, it's probably justified, right?
I heard it from everybody, word of mouth. Everybody in that facility loves Michael Vick. Like smoking great dude, sweetheart, very nice and giving. And I'll tell everybody now, he had no clue about what was going on in that house because I lived in that neighborhood.
Really?
And it wasn't him that lived there. It was all his boys that lived there.
Come on.
Mike lived somewhere else. So Mike had no clue what was going on over there. Nothing.
What?
Yeah, man. He just took it.
Breaking news, man.
Just took it, man. Just took it. Just poor bastard. Just shook my head. You ask a lot of people at that Falcons facility. Michael Vick's a good dude. You'll never hear really bad words spoken about Michael Vick unless you get it from the dog people, you know? For real. I'm a big dog lover, too. I'm a big dog lover, too.
I believe you before I believed any media member.
Yeah, man.
You kidding me?
Mike was a good dude.
All right. That's settled.
Yeah.
So, but I saw this dude make a throw.
Sick, isn't it?
He came in the middle of the game.
Was it for the Eagles or was it when he was with the Falcons?
It might have been. No, you're right. It was with the Eagles. That's right. It's when the Eagles played the Dolphins. And by the way, listen, I'm going to go on record and say the Eagles fans are sons of bitches.
They're brutal.
They're the worst freaking fans in the NFL.
Philly, man.
When the Dolphins, when Philly comes to town,
they're tough.
They bring the fucking D-cell batteries, dude.
They're
bad.
Oh yeah, I've been hitting the head with a battery or two.
They're bad, right? So, but I saw Michael Vick come in the middle of the game. I don't even know who the hell the quarterback was for Philly at the time. But he comes and just scrambled. It was just like a broken play, completely. Scrambled right, scrambled left, and just, I swear to God, he threw this thing like this. 60 yards. Right into the dude's bread basket. Touchdown. I'm like, are you kidding me?
There's a reason why they made the Michael Vick experience for the Super Bowl.
That wasn't human. I was there in the stadium. I was sitting in the end zone seats, fifth row of the end zone. It was my sister's season tickets, and I was like, I saw that from the ground level. I saw that thing rise and fall right in that dude's lap. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
With the flick of a wrist. I've seen that guy on his knees on a goal line, throwing almost the length of a football field. It's insane.
Dude was incredible.
It's crazy. Really crazy. And then his brother apparently was supposed to be better. I think his name was Marcus or something like that.
Yeah, Marcus Vick, yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't the case, though.
No. They always say that, too, about, nothing, no offense against Eli Manning, but when Eli Manning was coming up, everyone was like, oh, he's better than his brother. He's better than his brother. They said that. He's like, well, he wasn't really better than his brother. He was good, but he wasn't better than his brother.
A couple Super Bowls and stuff. I'm not going to knock the guy. He's a good dude. Old lazy eye Eli.
Yeah. So, yeah. I appreciate you talking NFL football with me.
My pleasure.
Because,
good reference. I'm a good frame of reference.
Fan versus, pro. Doesn't always equate there, but.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
So, you got to teach me how to eat this wing.
Where you? Let me see the two knuckles.
I got the flat, right?
Yeah. Oh, right there. You can see that dark part right there. You see that dark part?
Yeah.
Grab that dark part and rip that thing. Maybe even twist it. Pull it to the side a little bit right here and just twist. Immediately twist it right now.
Did I do that wrong?
No, you're okay. That's fine. That's good enough.
All right. So just.
Yeah, you can just rake that thing apart. There you go. There's the one end. And then now with your end where you got your fingers right now, kind of gristle the meat away from the bone a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, you can double hand that bad boy. Kind of shimmy it away.
Oh, come the pop up.
Oh, and then now you just dip on that one side, and just like that, same thing with the teeth in the rake. Look at that. Isn't that unbelievable? You're welcome. You're welcome. I know you invited me here for something. I knew you invited me here for something.
That's it. My claim to fame now.
Yeah, there you go.
Brett Romberg taught me how to eat a chicken wing.
How to just assault that wing. Yeah, well done. So what do you got here? A little swordfish bill, huh?
Mm-hmm. You fishing a lot?
Not as much as I want to be, but yeah, I guess enough. Yeah, I was supposed to do a big, nice sale, especially just after that guy got 73 sales in the Keys. I was supposed to go like 2 days later, but then I had to come back up here to Miami because the wife wanted to go ahead and do something back here with the kids. So I missed out on my nice little, and they've been killing it. They've been crushing it. Sales have been crazy out there. Wahoo's been nuts. Yeah, I know it's grouper now, and people are lighting up the groupers, man. I really love grouper fishing. Yeah, tunas are killing it too right now.
Our friend, I got to give a shout. Actually, I got to give a shout out to the Matic
with the 180,
186, 183, something like that.
180 something.
Yellowfin tuna.
Flash it up, yeah, right off of Hillsboro.
Yeah, so so they said they hooked it in Deerfield Pier.
No shit.
They fought it for 4 hours.
Like 120 feet of water.
In 120 feet of water, drag them out to about 1,300 feet. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing the situation. I might have a few of those that bits of information wrong, but that's the general consensus.
180 something pounder.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, Timmy Maddock is one of the greatest fishermen Pompano Beach that has ever seen.
That's what I was going to ask you. Why do I know that name?
Yeah, Tim Maddock. Vitamin C is the name of the boat, but he's fished a lot with OCD and Matt White and the crew and stuff like that. But regarding like greatest anglers Pompano Beach has ever seen, Timmy Maddock's in there. Top 10, easy. Top 5.
Do you find it shitty that you guys got to drive out so far though in order to get off a shelf here? Like, is that a pain in the ass, or is it just something you're accustomed to at this point in time? Is you got to drive so far out there in order to get deep?
No. It's actually not that bad because we have a lot of guys on here that come down from Maryland and stuff like that where they're driving 60 miles out.
Yeah.
But honestly, when we're putting the kites up 2 miles out, 130 feet of water, to 200 feet of water to catch the kings and stuff like that in tournaments with blackfins. What
is your favorite eating one? Obviously, you're gonna have your reef ones, yeah. But what about the big ones, like the wahoos, the kings?
Wahoo's my favorite eating fish. Wahoo and yellowfin tuna are my 2 favorite eating fish.
What about a blackfin? You ever into those?
You know what? I love blackfin.
Because I had that. I had a couple blackfin loins the other day. I rolled around in some sesame and.
Blackfin's really kind of like it's really
just
an
not as
underrated
fatty
fish.
as a yellowfin.
Yeah, that's what I found too. Right,
that's the thing. It's a pretty akin. You know what I mean? It's just not as much meat.
Yeah.
It's really all it is because they're a smaller fish.
Yeah,
you're going to get a blackfin. Your large blackfin's going to be about 30 pounds.
They're around now too. The 25 to 30 pounders are out there. Now's the time to go get them. Yeah,
I grabbed down on Island Mirada last time I went out. I grabbed a couple of those. We had. We were really going. We were trolling for wahoo on the way out. Never got anything. And we might have been going a little bit too slow. And then we ended up getting a couple of them little blackfins hit the lines. And then we kind of ran the hump a little bit, but it was during the time that there was like freaking so many boats out there. It was like literally playing bumper cars. Yeah, it was playing bumper cars out there.
You got a lot of those little blackfin on that hump too.
Yeah. That's what we scored.
They'll chew you up all day long.
There wasn't much going on. And then I tried to, with the wife and kids, I tried to go ahead and do the yellowtail thing. We'll go just right near Alligator Light, kind of right around that latitude mark on the side. And we try to go ahead and anchor up with about 70, 80 feet of water and chum the water a little bit, but it got weird with the funky wind and the current at that point in time where like it would take our chum underneath the boat, and there was never, the stars were never aligning, I guess you could say, to do the whole yellowtail thing and thingy, but it was good, man. The kids love it. Mama grabbed herself a grouper out there, which is nice. And I kept telling her, she was like, I keep getting hooked on the rock. And I was like, hell no, you ain't hooked on the rock. That thing's burying you in the rock. Go grab the damn thing, put your thumb on the reel and start cranking immediately.
Some heat on that thing.
I told her, I was like, you want me to tighten the drag on that bad boy for you or what? She's like, leave me the fuck alone. You're not the fisherman. I was like, oh, relax. Calm down, Nellis. Relax, man.
I love it.
Yeah, she's actually... I'd be comfortable with saying she loves them fishing more than I do. She's a princess, good-looking, smoke show Cuban girl that you would figure would never want to get dirty. This chick never wants to get dirty doing anything. She'll get bloody in a boat in a heartbeat. Yeah. Loves fishing. Grew up fishing. She grew up going to the Keys. Her family had some
Miami girl.
Yeah, local Miami girl, and grew up going on the weekends to Port Antigua. That's where they had a house down there, right by the lobster traps and the fish house kind of area is further down, maybe, I don't know, 76, 75 mile marker maybe. So, oh shit, how about that? Speak about that. You hear about the kid that stabbed his little brother up and tried to kill his old man the other day in Isla Mirada?
No. What?
Yeah, man, manhunt. They ended up Miami-Dade had to send the cops down there too to go ahead and try to shut everything down. Oh, they were looking for this kid for 24 hours. Yeah, he was a troubled 17-year-old kid. I don't know if it's bad to talk about him or not. Anyway, troubled 17-year-old kid ends up killing his 14-year-old brother, stabs him to death, and then goes after the old man, hits the old man in the neck, and then just disappears. So there was like helicopters, boats, cars, Miami-Dade police.
It's like bloodline shit.
Oh, like for real. The Keys were already shut down, but they literally, Founders Park with all the helicopters going over and landing and everything was crazy because it was right between mile marker 85 and like just past my house, just after Snake Creek, 89, 80, 90. Yeah. Or sorry, the other way down, right? It'd be like 84, 82. and they were just hunting that kid. And then at night, he came running out of the park and tried to commit suicide by jumping in front of a vehicle on the main drag. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He was in Founders the whole time?
Yeah, just hiding. And then he tried to commit suicide, jumping in front of a vehicle, and they ended up bringing him up to Miami. I don't know what his deal is now. But yeah, man.
They caught him.
Yeah, they got him. They brought him back up to Miami. But it was like big news in the Keys, obviously, because nothing really else is going on down there.
Well, my wife and I were just talking about that last night. Like, you're hearing like the obscure, weird story from California because there's nothing else going on.
Zero. Yeah.
So they're reporting literally everything.
Anything. They're looking for a news story right now, man.
Yeah, they might be reporting my 2 burps on the podcast.
I love it.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, there's really not. Hell, man, I do a sports show and I talk about COVID half the damn time. It's like, it's just sad.
Yeah.
It's
so
sad.
you like, you find like you got to talk about that like mostly.
Yeah, unfortunately, because I always get pissed off, and this is I still really don't know what the hell I'm doing when it comes to the broadcasting world. But half the time I look at,
you do. I think you do a great, outstanding job.
I look at Dan
Levitar, but
no, hell no, God no, I'm not a lyricist, hell no. But like guys that like have been doing radio for a long time, I'll sit there and I'll look at them, and they'll want to talk about some of the stupidest. And this is why I'll try to never label myself as a media guy. I can't stand half of the dumb clickbait topics that they try to create. That's it.
They want to go with like the bleeds and leads kind of topics,
yeah,
right?
The stupid shit. Nothing could be further from a discussion that I want to have than trying to compare this guy versus this guy. If this year was playing that year, if he was on that team, but he wasn't. Right. I'm not an ifs and buts and candy and nuts kind of guy. You know what I mean? It's like
OJ would be still in prison, right?
Exactly, man. I'm not interested. I got a lot more shit going on in my life, and I got a lot more to worry about than trying to do the ifs and buts thing, you know?
Yeah, that's why I like the man structure.
I appreciate that
thing that's going on. It's not just like sports talk radio, because we have like a similar mindset here where we're like, well, I mean, I don't want it to be a fishing show. You know what I mean? I don't want to we're going to talk fishing, and most of the people that I have on the show are like fishermen for the most part. But
you don't want to isolate.
We're trying to get a little bit underneath this situation.
Totally.
Here, you know what I mean? And
I'm the same way, man.
It. We're just hanging out, drinking beer, eating wings, and we're that's just like get real.
That's what I kind of like when I had the thought of doing this was, I don't want to talk about goddamn tennis. I don't want to talk about if there's something really cool that happened in a tennis match that might interest me. I don't want to have to talk about something.
Got to be special.
It does, man. I just, although I'll say this, everybody knows this too. I'm not like a giant fan of sports. I played them, but I'm just a giant fan of man. Like whatever floats your boat, fishing, drinking, smoking, chicks, beers, wings. Hell, I think a lot of the women that used to work in my wife's office, so my wife's an attorney, hell, they would listen to my show all the time because I would talk about how dumb men are sometimes, how stupid we are and what we're expecting.
Very dumb.
Oh, okay, just horrible. We're the simpletons.
We're very stupid.
But I would tell them, like, hey, man, like, when we ask you, grab me a beer, we're not looking for you to, cure cancer, or we're not looking for any kind of other thing other than just grabbing a goddamn beer.
Right.
Whereas if you ask us to grab a beer, you think we're thinking this and thinking that. We're simple, dumb cavemen. That's it. It's just like we want to. Anything you want with that beer? No. Nope, just the beer. We might want to watch you go up and get it. You know what I mean? Depending on what's going on. But we're not sitting. Yeah, and I feel like I've always been somewhat of a meathead caveman. But I've learned now with like the 3 daughters, the wife.
That's a game changer, isn't it?
Oh God,
I have a 9-year-old daughter.
To operate a little bit more.
What I say now?
Progressively, yeah. I grew up around boys, obviously, my whole life. Lived in a locker room my whole life, so I've never been sensitive to women or the female species. So I'm learning. Trust me, I'm still struggling.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think really we just want you to hum "Happy Birthday" to us. That's it. That's all we want, right? I mean, Is that what it comes down to?
You want to hear something funny? My wife has been giving me a hard time lately because I've liked to sit downstairs and watch TV a little bit at the end of my night, at the end of my day. Right. And she's always like, "You want to come to bed?" And I'm like, "Nah, for what?" Like, I want to do 2 things in bed. bro. You know, I only want to do two things in that thing. It's I sleep and you know what the other one is.
Right.
Do I want to lay there and cuddle and watch TV? No. Chances are no. No, I'll do that down here as I can do it by myself and not have to give you a back scratch as I'm doing it. I'd rather, you know, if you want to give me to scratch something. But yeah, I'm about as simple can be. I'm not complicated. And the amount of stupid scraps that men and women get into at the end of it, it's just, oh God, it's just such an energy.
It's not worth it, man.
Energy vampire type.
Short memory. Whoever came up with the short memory,
the
key to like a good marriage is that's it.
I'll never forget. My friend looked at me and he goes, I just keep telling my wife, "You gonna divorce me over it?" No, okay, then leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like, is it worth having this miserable argument right now to where you're going to go to bed pissed off? I'm going to go to bed not giving a shit. You're going to wake up the next day expect an apology that I'm not ready to give. Are you that mad at me about it? No? Okay. Then like let's worry about something else then. Like let's try to solve our financial issues or create something together as opposed to just bickering back and forth. And I do sound like an asshole, but I am an asshole. Like literally I'll wear the hat.
There's a difference between asshole and realist.
I just don't have time or patience for stupid shit that you want to bicker over. To be honest, I'm not a bickering type of person. I don't want to create a fight.
I'm a big picture guy.
Totally macro.
Yeah,
not a micro guy.
And sometimes I get criticized for it, but I'm a big picture guy. I'm like, listen, like in the grand scheme of this, what does this matter? I always take that stance.
What I love is the shit that I get in the morning or getting yelled at or we're scrapping it out and all of a sudden family comes over for a day and it's all freaking smiles after that. Champagne's flowing. She'll walk by, grab my ass in the kitchen.
There you go.
And I'm just like, so you're telling me all that shit you were pulling in the morning about yelling and barking
Jedi
and screaming.
tricks, brother.
Like, why? I just don't get it. I don't understand. And I imagine, you know, the minute that men figure this out, much like, who do you think is going to get figured out first, women or COVID? It's a freaking question.
There's no chance that women get figured out first.
It's been like the
we got that virus thing down if that's the case. If we're picking between the two.
The question of life itself, right? Everybody wants to know the meaning of life. Figure out what the hell women want. That's the meaning of life. And you'll be happier. If you understand what they want, and they'll always say, all I want to be is loved or appreciated. Or
is that even true?
No. Oh, is that why you got that $4,000 purse? Is because you want to feel loved and appreciated? Okay, I'm sorry about that. Yeah. That purse is giving you a lot of appreciation.
I always think about the Kobe thing, right?
That diamond ring when she showed up at that.
We got that fixed that whole scenario, didn't it?
Yeah, of course. There's a reason, man. I tell my wife all the time. I said, you're good looking enough to where you're going to kill me here in the next 10 years. You're going to just run me right into the ground. I'm going to be done. I'm going to be chalked out. My batteries are going to go. I'm done. I'm out. And you'll still be good looking enough. You might have 3 baggages with you. You might have the kiddos with you, but you'll be good looking enough that you could move on and upgrade and get something bigger and better or whatever you got going on. They don't. Women know that we need them a lot more.
Why are they here?
I'm telling you, man. We're getting deep. Today's getting deep. We went from beers and wings to finding out the philosophy of women now.
I mean, yeah. You know, when before my wife and I got married, she got into a little fender bender, and I had to leave work early to meet her down at the Dixie Tracks in Deerfield, wherever it happened, like the CVS there. And the cop, there's like some BSO sheriff. He was like in his 60s. He was like probably ready to retire, right? And you know. He was like, well, what did the guy look like? You know, like he cared, right? She goes, well, she's like, well, he was like 6 foot tall. He was a Haitian guy. And he's like, all right. So he straight up told us, he's like, well, the dude's probably not even a registered citizen, so I don't even think we're going to find him.
Didn't even bother.
Right? You know what I mean? So he's like, you two, because she had told him that, oh, yeah, my fiance is coming. So she's like, it's your fiance. You guys, you got to be ready to get married. And he goes, let me put some value to the situation for you. Right? I'm like, value. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's only a fender bender. No big deal. He goes, let me give you some advice. I've been married for 35 years. He goes, don't ever tell each other what to do. We're like, okay. He goes, instead, say, you might want to consider. Like, rather than you might want to, he's like, now, if you want someone to go get you a beer, you might want to consider going to get me a beer.
That's good advice because
it gives them the option to accept or deny the scenario rather than being told. And I said that, and we still say this to this day. You might want to consider shutting the hell up.
That's good.
Right?
That's good.
And it works.
It's good.
Because it
puts a little smile to it, too.
Right.
Of course. I don't think I've ever told my wife to grab me anything, to be honest with you. I'll never say that. Hold on a minute. Let me retract that statement. I have probably asked her in the last month and a half for her to do me a favor once or twice. Like, to be perfectly honest, I don't ask anything at my house. I don't ask, other than my kids to like be quiet or whatever. Either, I don't ask her. I've never asked her to cook me a meal. I've never asked her to make me a drink. I've never asked her to grab me a beer. I've never asked her to load the boat. I've never asked her to do anything. I just assume that I am the one that's going to have to do it, and I just take care of it and do it. But I literally will have a laundry list of about 15 different things that I've been asked to do or told to do that day. And usually it's accompanied with the word we. Brett, we need to do this. We need to do that. So and I ask her, I'm like, so you speak French now, huh? You speak French. Right. There's no we. You got a mouse in your pocket? French. No, you don't. So there is no we, really. This is like, you want me to do this. And I'll stop her, and that pisses her off. Brett, you know what we really need to do? And I'll look at her and be like, what do we really need to do? You know, and she's just like, whatever. You. Okay. You know, she knows by now.
You know, the real reason I wanted to come back to the studio is because I wanted the honey-do list to be done.
Bro, it's tough. It's tough sledding. Yeah. Tough sledding.
And you notice how I wait till like later in the podcast to like mention this kind of shit?
You blame it on booze too. You blame it on
because
beer.
Like she'll probably only listen to like the first 20 minutes.
She'll get tired of it.
Yeah, she'll get tired of it. So now we're at the point in the podcast I can say whatever the hell I want.
Sounds like my sex life.
Because she's not gonna listen to any of this. Like once we get past the 20-minute mark, she's done.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I know the feeling.
So the honeydew list is
good.
over now that I have the excuse of being back at the studio.
Get you work too, man. Get you back to work.
Right.
And she's an artist as well too, which is pretty cool.
She's an artist too.
So painting this shit pays the bills, huh? That's amazing. And it's something that you love to do too, which is really, really cool.
I got to be 100% honest with you. If I just sat back and did paintings all day long, we wouldn't last a month.
Really?
Well, I mean, our business is structured around doing custom service for boats and different
ultimately
things like that. That's what
your
brings
printing and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
right?
It's the printing
your
and services, and we've built a business.
Oh, so it's not just the art itself. It's so you guys do everything.
Full circle.
I did not know
we are a one-stop shop concierge business. We handle everything. You're a boater. You want to come to us? You say, "Hey, Dennis, I need shirts for my boat." We'll do the art. We'll do the shirts,
know
we'll do
that.
the hats, we'll do everything. Yeah, that's our business. Well, that's how I pay the bills.
I didn't know.
Right?
I thought you were just drawing pictures, man.
If I sat back and just waited for people to say, "Yeah, I'll buy that one."
No shit.
We'd be in for a long day.
I learned something new.
They sell. You'll find when you go walk through, you won't find one original in my studio because they all sell. However, when you run a small business, you're counting like days, you're counting weeks, you're counting. You got to have you got to make sure I have employees. I got to
pay for the goddamn microphone here too.
I can't just have all my employees like. Yeah. Is it going to sell this week?
Oh.
It's like no.
I did not know that.
So cool. there's a way. I figured it out over all these years. I figured it out how to run. You powder
coating any for a living. You powder coating any Yetis or anything like that either, or no? You wrapping any Yeti cups?
We do everything. We don't want you to go anywhere. We do everything.
Cool. Are you involved in Pilar too? Are you an investment guy in Pilar?
No. So here's the thing.
That was subtle.
They gave me free rum. They gave me free rum at the Jimmy Johnson.
Sold.
And they gave me this nice little wood transom sign.
I like it.
And I said, I think that would look good on my
it would.
podcast table. And they said, yeah, well, here you go. And here's an extra few bottles of rum, and they paid me off with liquor.
And you got Captain America
there, too. They get me every time.
Mm-hmm.
I got Captain America there. I got a little Jeff Conine. A couple of Jeff Conines.
Goddamn Baby Shark, huh? Kellogg's came out with some Baby Shark cereal. When that happen?
So Rhonda brought that in. The one outside the snort meter, Rhonda.
That's phenomenal.
All right, so this is my Jeff Conine All-Star, right?
Holy
when the Marlins used to play at the Joe Robbie.
I do have some bobbleheads too, yeah. And, you got Ricky Williams over there too?
I got Ricky.
Holy smokes.
Right.
Who's the other guy? Who's that?
That's another Jeff Conine. I got a Miguel Cabrera too at my parents' house. I got to bring
Miggy.
Well, hold on, I got to show you this one.
They done gave Ricky. They gave Ricky that caramel skin. Look at that. Do they let players approve these bobbleheads, or they just go ahead and make them?
I don't know. I want to make one of me.
Look, there's a guy in West Virginia that I know that makes these figurines.
Is it really?
That are pretty badass. He made a lot of moves.
One. We don't keep it on the table.
How come?
Because when people Bang the hand, it makes a lot of noise. So I keep that.
Yeah, it wobbles a little bit.
So.
You know,
you got a Romberg bobblehead?
Yeah, I do actually.
Can you make one for me? I'm gonna put it on the table.
Dude, the guy in West Virginia, like legitimately makes you figurines for like $50-$60, and they're
really?
freaking from the tape around my fingers to the shoe I was wearing to the band around my one knee. No, he's
really?
He's on point, man. He'll make that thing in a heartbeat. Yeah, that's badass.
I'm gonna make a Romberg.
You know the rest of the NHL thought that Yager was a big tool, just a toolbox from his like overachieving. I'm gonna stick around the facility all day long because I got nothing else going on in life.
This bobblehead?
No, him himself.
Oh, him. Well, I mean, I really kind of
everybody was like, hang it up, man. Like, give it up, dude. Like,
I thought the whole him coming to the Panthers was just a novelty, 100%.
He was productive for the 1 year though, right? Wasn't he? Like, he did
okay, but he was getting fed a lot of cherries.
Yeah, he was.
But you know I just looked at it. Hey, Yager's on the team. We had nothing else going on at the time.
Didn't they just play the other night too? It was like a part of the 95 or 96 playoffs or something like that.
Did they really?
Yeah, and I remember
96 was our year.
Yeah, and they showed
our only year.
They showed them against Pittsburgh.
And we had Pavel Bure. You know, that was it. That's our claim to fame. We had 96 and Pavel Bure.
My hometown provided some good hockey relief for you guys. We got Ed Jovanovski, Aaron Ekblad.
The Jovo Cop.
Yeah, Ekblad here now. Two first picks in the NHL draft came from my hometown.
You a big hockey fan?
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up,
Did you play?
1 year, but all my...
In high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All my good buddies I was mainly a baseball player, though. I didn't even want to play football. I was mainly baseball. But
I was always a baseball player, too.
All my good buddies are crazy hockey players. So hockey players are the best athlete there is out there. In terms of, like, the coolest professional athlete there is.
Right.
Hockey all day long. They're the best.
I don't think I've ever really met a hockey player that wasn't really cool.
Yeah, neither have I.
I used to see Gord Murphy all the time.
Oh, really?
At the bank. Yeah, we were up on Wiles Road. Because they all used to live like in like Parkland and like Whispering Woods and like stuff up here.
Oh yeah.
And I used to see Gord Murphy at the hey Gord, whatever.
I met
just always cool.
I met Thornton the other day. He's a good dude, funny guy. Still involved with the Panthers organization, so I can't say anything bad. I don't want him to lose his job, but yeah, he's a good dude. Sean's a good guy. Yeah, he's a good guy.
So we good?
Yeah, man. I thought it was pretty fun. To be honest with you, I was excited. I'm glad I came up here. Fuck, it took me 4.5 years to get up here. But
yeah, we're kind of the Great White North up here.
It is. It really was like I just ended up coming back to Canada. I imagine how many Ontario license plates you guys got up here? Quebec.
A lot.
Quebec and Ontario.
When I went to art school,
Je me souviens.
Listen, when I went to art school in Sarasota, and on the West Coast, it's all French Canadian kind of thing. Like when you come through Sarasota, it says welcome to Sarasota. It says
bienvenue.
Yeah,
you're kidding me.
Yeah,
no way.
Yep.
That's how many.
Does they have that much of a Canadian influence like in the winter?
Shit. Is that why the Tampa Bay Lightning have such a massive hockey following up there? Yeah, obviously, aside from the fact that they're really, really good.
They're good now, yeah.
Wow, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, and then when Montreal comes and plays here, it's just like a madhouse.
Oh, it is, yeah. You get the Hab fans coming in here. Yeah. I see a lot of Toronto Maple Leaf jerseys as well. They're coming into town quite a bit. What have you ever thought about moving to the West Coast, Gulf side, or you lottie-dottie to the rest of your life?
I mean,
Broward County, shout out 954.
Yeah, I mean we have a following here. You know what I mean? So we'll.
Is there?
I like the St. Augustine area too.
Really? Do you really?
I do.
No way.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the history.
What is it? First city in Florida, right?
I like all that. It's got a nice coastline.
They got Ripley's Believe It or Not over there still?
Probably.
I think they still.
Yeah, there's a big heavy tourist thing going on in that little pirate street.
Golf community over there too as well.
Yeah, so I don't know. Kind of like it.
St. Augustine, huh? So you would never do the West Coast, the Gulf side. Is there a Friel over there on the west side, or who?
My brother lives in Bradenton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he an artist too, or no?
No. He's a school teacher. So but
he likes it over there.
Yeah, it's cool. It's different, man.
Tell me about it, because I contemplated at one point in time moving on that side.
It's kind of like it's less developed and more laid back. It's a lot of older population.
Slower, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot of old people. There's like kind of like this weird dichotomy of like old people and young people now, because the people who are moving over there at the time, at least like 10 years ago, the property values were a lot lower, so people were like being attracted. Now that it's kind of leveled off, the property values are kind of very similar now.
Got it.
And so it's like, all right, well, you still got that older population. There's an infrastructure over there to keep like villages and like shit like that, like to keep like that overpopulation cycling through there. So who knows, like but there's like hot spots like Venice, but still it's going to be slow.
I'm wondering what obviously the onslaught of Tom Brady and then the Super Bowl is going to do to that community over there. I think it's going to make Tampa Bay area a new hotspot, to be honest with you.
It could. I mean,
yeah.
I thought the whole like Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and then there was another one for Gronkowski too. It was Gronkaneers. They're calling it Tampa Bay and Gronkaneers. Yeah.
I think this is it's so funny because it's like a 1-year plan or a 2-year plan,
basically.
Or like whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, how much longer are these guys going to play?
I don't know, man. But when they start talking about like the amount that it's influenced Vegas in terms of like favorites for Super Bowls and stuff like that, where it got them, I'm not saying that Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady are going to win.
It's a paper tiger, man.
Yeah, but that offense—that's the biggest offense that Tom's seen in a long time, and they're going to be putting up some stupid numbers. Stupid numbers. But just remember, last year, Tom Brady's stats were just the same as Jameis Winston's,
Listen, this is my opinion on Tom Brady. I think he's a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. He wasn't very good in Michigan, right? He was,
Are you about to try to tell me that probably the greatest quarterback of all time is an average quarterback in your eyes?
No, I wouldn't say average. This is what I'm getting at. I wouldn't say I think he was a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Great quarterback that benefited from a very good line and a very good system his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And he's made some decent throws through his career in key moments. Uh-huh. Right? He's also had some favorable calls go his way. This is obviously a Dolphin fan talking.
Oh, my God. Yeah, okay. I'm like, I'm about to hear the Miami Dolphins song start playing right now in the background. I didn't know if that was going to come in or not.
No. But hear me out, right? No, I'm not trying to take anything away from Tom Brady. I'm really not. Because obviously you've played in this league. You understand how difficult it is on a daily to perform. Right? So I cannot take anything away from him at all. Huh. However, I will say this. You probably could have put a bunch of other quarterbacks in that same situation. They would have done just as well.
I love that.
Am I wrong or right?
I have never heard anybody poo-poo Tom Brady the way that this Miami Dolphin fan has poo-pooed Tom Brady before in my life. That's impressive.
Do you think I'm wrong? Or
Yep.
You think I'm wrong? All right.
No.
I'll take that, though.
No, but
I'll take that.
I will tell you that, a lot of other quarterbacks would be more successful in that system. Not more successful than Tom, but more successful than wherever they were prior.
Wherever they were, yeah.
Bill Belichick, man, there's something about
see that to me that was the secret sauce.
Organization operates, man. I could talk.
He was always the secret sauce to me.
It's remarkable. He is like.
I'm just trying to justify like the dude being like okay in Michigan and like just like being like cyborg in
what gets
the NFL.
What gets me is his competitive spirit. To be honest with you,
he's got all the heart in the world.
Yeah,
I like Tom Brady. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate the guy. I really do. There's a lot to be admired there. And there's a lot, personally, too, the way he's handling a lot of the noise and a lot of the controversy, it was pretty admirable. I mean, he did a great job handling the media.
I think so. Especially,
he's probably going to make a great politician one day.
I imagine so. I think he wants to get involved he doesn't want to do broadcasting, right? Doesn't he want to become, or is that Peyton that wants to become part owner or something like that of a team? He doesn't want to be a media guy because right now he's got something like, $18 or $20 million on the table a year annually to go ahead and broadcast one of the days of the week for the NFL.
Really?
Yep. He has that offer waiting for him.
Wow.
But my guess is, and he said it too, he wants to own a team. He wants to be not even necessarily a GM. He wants to be part owner, president of a team. So, man.
He wants to go the Michael Jordan route.
Yeah, way above my pay grade.
I don't know, man.
Way above my pay grade.
I could talk to you forever.
I'm a conversation piece. I might not be as articulate. Doing, John? Might be as articulate as Dan Lebitard, but
we're at 137.
All right, we're in good shape.
Hour and a half. It's pretty good.
We're in good shape.
Is that a long one for you or what?
It all depends, man. Usually if it's a good, I won't say good guess or a bad guess, but usually if we're getting on a roll, if we get on a roll, we're like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah. But I just want to touch on one.
Let's touch it. Let's just go ahead and touch it. Don't be nervous.
Just reach out and touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like with the Tom Brady thing, right? So I want you to kind of elaborate. Like you think other quarterbacks would have been successful in that system? Like
100%.
Right.
I've heard from Vince Wilfork's mouth, from Brandon Merriweather's mouth, guys that I played with at the University of Miami, that there's just something about Bill Belichick that is just different than every other coach. He runs every other organization that they played for or been a part of. It's like Bill knows when a player is about to expire, when his value is at the premium. He knows when to get rid of people. He knows what buttons to push. And it's a no-nonsense league where you don't get afforded opportunities to make mistakes more than once. And if you don't want to be accountable and you want to, be your own enterprise, you ain't for the Patriots. And that's the reason why they've been able to assemble guys for the minimal amount of money to get the most production out of them.
Which segues me to my question.
Mm-hmm.
So you answered that for me perfectly. Do you feel that Brian Flores has that here?
Oh, this is turning in, as much as Miami Dolphin fans don't want to know it, this is turning into a mini New England Patriots team.
I see that.
Oh, yeah.
Happening. And so I wanted to get your opinion on that.
It's happening, but it's happening in a good way. It's not like a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's going to be a great thing where you're going to get guys like, for instance, if you were going to tell me as a professional athlete, which is very difficult, that I got to tank or I got to not produce as well in order to go ahead and facilitate a first-round draft pick in the following season, high first-round draft pick, I'm going to go tell you to go piss up a rope.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
I thought the tank thing was just a bunch of bullshit.
It was stupid. You're not going to tell players to tank. You might have an idea in the organization and the executives and stuff like that they have a great plan put together, but you're not going to get, 53 of the guys? Hell no. You ain't going to get 53 guys to agree to go ahead and put shitty tape out there because there's 31 other teams that are looking at their
stock. Yep.
100%.
People are going to get hurt.
Get hurt, lower stock, take money off my table, take food off my plate, let me provide for my... No. I'm going to... If you want to do that because you're an 11-year veteran and, you're at the end of the table and you've already made your money, then you quit if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not interested in quitting and putting out a bad product out there because, let's face it, now with the internet and the NFL, you live forever. Your legacy or whatever you played in game-wise. Nothing bothers me more than seeing a highlight of an amazing play that happened, whether it was a quarterback throwing a football or running back. And I notice on that film, not necessarily me, but I just notice on that film a missed block or a guy that messed up. And I'm just like, but I see that. A lot of my other people might not see it.
Right.
But I see it. And I'm like, that poor bastard right now knows that he's got that play out there. That is a highlight play for one player. But because he was either screwing the pooch, being lazy on that play, or not knowing his assignment, or getting his ass kicked for that matter, that's going to go down in infamy of everybody wants to see that one play because of a highlight of a Deion Sanders interception or something like that. But they don't realize because that left tackle aborted his assignment and got the quarterback lit up. Deion Sanders was able to get that interception. And now you're showing year in and year out that highlight video of Deion Sanders, but it all started because you screwed up. And people don't realize that. People don't see that. So it's very difficult to go ahead and convince a guy, I don't care how much you're paying him, to go ahead and shit the bed after you've been telling him his whole life, his whole career, you have to be the best. You have to be better. You have to give all that you've got on this play. So
I always think it's funny seeing with the draft day, you always see the highlights of the guys that just got picked.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they show a highlight of him making a great play against like a lesser team,
of course,
I'm always just like,
I
mean that dude, you got like a 1-star guy going against a 5-star.
It's like seeing a lot of our high school kids. Everybody, I watch a lot of film for the University of Miami or whoever they're going to, Florida State, Alabama, whoever the player is going to out of high school. And you're trying to show me a kid's highlight video of a guy that he's like 7 inches taller than, or he's like no shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to show me a really good game? Put on a game that when he's actually in college and he's playing against another athlete that's pretty capable. And then you watch him have a stalemate or not be able to do anything productive, then I'll understand. But don't show me a highlight video of a kid that is going to be crunching numbers in an accounting firm in about 5 years from now. And while this kid's trying to get a scholarship, no, it ain't going to happen.
So my second question then. The Dolphins line moves. Listen, when it comes to line, okay, a lot of fans are left in the dark.
Yeah.
Because I always say that the peripheral positions are a lot easier to judge because they're on an island.
Of course.
Than you can judge like a guy that's in the trenches.
The stuff that's going in the mud. Yeah.
Right. It's very, very tough for a fan to kind of look at that and judge that.
Yep.
Right. Very hard thing. So when it comes to all these offensive line picks that the Dolphins made, we're like, great, we took a lineman. Great, we took a lineman. We don't really know if those linemen are any good.
No. Well, especially the way the football's played nowadays, people are still stuck. Each position group is decorated in their own individual way. Where he's like a sexy wide receiver doing something great is not hard to see.
Mm-hmm.
An offensive lineman doing something great is a lot more difficult to see because you don't understand the intricacies of offensive line blocking, that kind of thing. Nowadays, with the movement and the mobility of quarterbacks, getting outside the pocket, being athletic, you might not necessarily be able to take on a 295-pound defensive tackle that can pick you up and slam you like a Donald or something like that. But you'll understand.
Aaron Donald's a beast, man.
Yeah, he's freaking insane, man. Freaking insane. You'll understand the mobility of a guy pulling, like for instance, Travis Kelce's brother, Casey Kelce, the one that's the center for the Eagles. Mm-hmm. His ability to be number one in shape as much as he is, because all he does is just pull constantly. He very rarely will take on your 330-pound Haloti Ngata or whatever, the big defensive tackle, whoever you might be thinking now is in the NFL remaining. It's more of like a position thing, or they're going to try to find ways to X and O so that little mini center doesn't get isolated against the big monster, because sheer physics, you're not going to be able to win.
Right.
So you got to rely on your speed, your ability, your technique, your smarts, and the X's and O's of blocking and getting around certain guys. So you'll see these little centers or these little guards have that mobility factor where they're almost acting like another fullback in the backfield. So the way that the game keeps evolving, it like went from big offensive linemen to smaller offensive linemen, back to big. Now it's going to smaller, more athletic tight end / basketball players for the most part. You're seeing at the guys that are defending the backs of our quarterbacks. And you see what they just drafted now. You saw the Miami Dolphins pick up a couple offensive linemen, and they're going to be moved around and switched around just on the sheer fact that Tua is a lefty. Right. He's very mobile. So you have to worry about blocking certain sides of him now. And he also has to understand, this isn't – he'll learn pretty quickly because when I would go back and watch college football after being in the NFL for a little time, it's like watching paint dry. College football's slow as hell. To me, slow as hell.
Slow game.
Oh, my God. Very slow. And Tua will realize
especially those like option run offenses.
That window closes so much faster than it did in college for you. You got maybe 2 or 3 guys opposing you that have the ability to possibly get a shot at making professional football.
Right.
Now you have the whole 11 that are on the other side of the game that are playing against you that want to kill you and are going to find a way to do so.
They're all specialists.
And they're all phenomenal at what they do.
Yeah.
Just you can figure out how the funnel works, from high school to college to professional. And then the professionals that go on and do the Pro Bowl and the elite all-pro stuff is just, you're dealing with anomalies in the genetic pool,
And that's what makes us admire guys like Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor like that much more, and especially Zach being the size that he was and still being able to perform at that level, and Jason being long and lanky and still being able to perform at that level, and just like changing the position.
Really, honestly, yeah. And even
Jason Taylor changed that position.
Oh, he did. I remember our game
especially
plan.
the way when he used to drop back into coverage. I was like, oh man, that just gave me a chubby. I was like, oh, this is great.
Well, his whole thing is I know his move because we game planned it every single time. He does the long arm thing and he does his third step. On his third step, that's when he gives you, and then he kind of makes it look like he's going straight upfield. And on his third step, he puts his foot in the ground and just gives you that left arm up underneath your shoulder pads, and he goes right up. And we game plan it, and he's considered a game wrecker. So game planning that opposing defense, you list 3 or 4 guys, depending on how many they have, that can basically alter the outcome of a game within 3 or 4 plays of an NFL football game, and he's listed as one of those. And Jason Taylor, all the way till the very end. Did he get slower? Maybe a little bit, not much, but he got smarter, just like everybody else at that level. And JT would study film, learn the weaknesses of his tackles that he would be going against, and just sit back there and eat ultimately. Whatever was a third down specialist or an every down guy or whatever he ended up playing at the end, but. Yeah, he's just special. Guys, James Harrison, Pittsburgh Steeler, lunatic guy like that. James ain't a big dude,
Julius Peppers.
Pep is, God.
Yeah.
He
lives here.
Yeah, Pep's over by me. Yeah, Pep's by me. He actually maybe about a mile from me. Yeah, he's a good freak of nature. First time I saw him in equipment, I just said, this shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
This human being shit. It's like Thanos, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean? He's a monster, man. Monster of a dude. There's a lot of guys like that I was just like, holy smokes, is that for real?
Thank you so much for talking sports with me.
No, my pleasure.
I mean, really, I get to talk sports on the show every now and then, but not with like anyone who's, on your level.
Who's sports wise.
You're like, yeah,
I'm in.
You're placating me to this.
No, I'm glad.
I appreciate you.
No, my pleasure,
entertaining us. I really got to pee. So
That's okay.
I'm gonna have to cut it.
We'll end it with I really got to pee.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I really got to pee.
Yeah, take a leak.
How did you end your podcast, by the way? I got to pee. Yeah, it was good. Worked out. No, I'm loving it, man. Between the cow horns and the American flags, I'm ready to rock and roll. And of course, your Duper and your Clayton action figurines.
My Duper, my Clayton. We got wings. We got beer. I tried to be a good host for you today.
No, you're fantastic.
I really was honored that you drove up.
No, it worked out, man. It was good.
Out with us, and
it was good. I started my diet today, by the way, which clearly I'm not finishing today.
You started the diet today?
I'll have to start
I'm
it again tomorrow.
glad I could contribute to that.
I'll have to start it again tomorrow. We'll see. It's always the tomorrow diet. I'll get it going tomorrow.
My God. All right. Romberg, thank you, man.
No, thank you.
Thanks for entertaining me here today.
No, my pleasure.
You thoroughly did. And,
my pleasure.
I want to give a certain shout out because I didn't give a shout out to Joey Accardi at the beginning of this. So, Joey Accardi is the presenting sponsor of our show. So, if you guys are in the need of a vehicle, a Dodge, Ram, Jeep, Chrysler.
He's in the Keys all the time too, isn't he? Doesn't he have a fishing team?
He does. Surreal.
He's got a giant
We're the artist for that boat as well.
Hydrosport.
Yep.
I met those guys.
Got a 53 Hydrosport. He's the presenting sport of the show. We do all the artwork.
Shit.
We do all the artwork for that boat.
I was filling up the other day at Plantation. I chopped it up with
Plantation
those guys. Oh yeah, Elias that owns Hydrosport was a good buddy of mine.
My partner Harris.
Yeah,
he's right on that street. That's where he lives. That's where his house is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
They're like fifth house.
Cool. Yeah, they're up here in Lauderdale area. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because he told me he's a guy. I'm a dealership guy.
Yeah. So Joey Accardi's presenting sponsor of the show, and right now they're doing 0% financing for 72 months.
On which vehicles?
On select vehicles. I probably not like the 2500 and 3500s, but 1500 and below, and all the Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and for no payments for 120 days. Which is a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, that's a really good deal.
So he wants to make sure that I mention that every time, and I will proudly, because they're very generous to us. And also their service and their quality is impeccable. If you need anything from Joey Accardi, go see my man Dean. Tell him I sent you. He will hook you up.
Dean's the salesman or the service
Dean's
rep?
the salesman.
Got it.
Yeah, Dean's the salesman. He helped us out. He's got us into the Ram Rebel 1500, which is leather throughout the whole thing, and sporty as could be.
She's pretty, huh?
Yeah, she's pretty. So I love that truck. So your ego is not your amigo. Right? Always do your best and let God do the rest, and don't ever buy any vehicle other than Joey Accardi, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Subaru. No, not Subaru anymore, but yeah, see, I messed up. It's just 3 beers talking. So, all right, always remember.
What other vehicle we put in here?
Eat, drink, and be local. And let's throw a Ferrari in there, Lambo. Just like
why not,
about,
man?
Right?
Why not?
Eat, drink, be local. Papa's Raw Bar, and don't ever forget that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, always connected by water. Brett Romberg, thank you very much for joining me.
My pleasure. Thanks for the invite, man.
Right on.